Going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night on the television, I was on a telephone rapidly rising I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHDI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in the friggin' season. He'll be gotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make that near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. I can't get this to function at all. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. No idea. No idea. No idea.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris live in Central Pennsylvania on Sunday, February 16th, 2025, for your daily dose, your daily injection of no nonsense, unfiltered, fair, varnished, and accurate news. The chat function is currently turned off. I will turn the chat function on after I get through the news. This is a consequence of me questions that are unrelated to the topic at hand that people don't have the courtesy to wait until afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and try to get through the news without the chat. We've done this before when people getting off track. Let me get through the news. Those are here to actually share the news and discover the content and get your updates for the day. You'll be able to get that today without interruption. So let me get to the news. And those who just come around to ask me a question that someone's asked me 85 times or 80,000 times that I've already answered and published videos on, but you're unwilling to go look and want to interrupt all the time, you can wait a little bit, and I'll be happy to do that and answer those questions after this. So we'll see how many people stay, and if the audience shrinks, and if that's the case, then I'll know what's really going on here, if you're here for the news or not. But that's fine. If you're here just to ask me questions, that's fine, but do that when I'm answering questions. So for those who are curious, the chat function is currently disabled. I will enable it as we get through the broadcast. Thank you. All right, so South African news. Let's start our day off there in the southern tip of Africa, where the government is seeking money from the World Bank. Now, this is the same World Bank, ladies and gentlemen, that the largest shareholder and one who determines who gets money from the World Bank is none other than the United States. That would be the same country that South Africa is calling racist, is attacking Donald Trump, saying he doesn't understand anything, and accusing the United States of interfering in South African internal politics, which couldn't be anything further from the truth. In fact, it's the ANC trying to interfere in U.S. politics, telling us who we can let in our country as refugees, and whining about what money we have to give them when it's not their money. Somehow disengaging from South Africa has been turned into interfering in South Africa. The cognitive dissonance of South African politicians and the media is just shocking, as is the repeated lies by all sorts of media trying to find any South African, white South African, desperate enough to say, well, we're not going anywhere. Well, fine. I would ask you to go anywhere. Stay where you're at. We don't give a flip. It wasn't made to you then. Quit tarnishing and rubbish for other people. Treasury Department looking to borrow $27 billion, $1.5 billion US dollars. And again, it's the United States responsible for this money. So if you want to keep trashing the United States, we have the largest share of the vote in the World Bank and the IMF. So let's see how that goes for you, Pretoria. Let's see how the ANC's begging for money goes when, by the way, where's the other money? You've yet to tell us where the $5.6 billion that you were given from the International Monetary Fund, the African Development Bank, the New BRICS Bank, and the World Bank back in 2020, where did that money go? Except in the pockets of the ANC. They can't show where it went. It certainly didn't go to develop antiretroviral drugs. We also gave you $711 million directly from the U.S. Treasury and from the Europeans to Aspen Pharmacare to produce jabs. You've not done that, but you ran around the world, still around the polls, and called us racist, saying vaccine apartheid, vaccine apartheid, vaccine apartheid, when you knew full well that you refused to participate in the trials and therefore get advanced access to antiretrovirals that were developed. You didn't do that. Why? Why? Because you're a race hustler, and people that fell for it are fools. Racism shall never find a place under my watch. Interesting comment from Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gate McKenzie. What is he talking about here? Well, after 2 days of running articles that lied about America, Divana Rajgopal writes this story. My crime was wanting inclusion. I received a list that I'm supposed to sign for writers and poets to go to Cuba. I am the final signatory as the minister at the Department of Sports, Arts, and Culture. I took one look at that list and told the acting director general, chief of staff, and my spokesman that I want to see more inclusion. I want clear that it should have included colored and white people also. I will never be ashamed of my instruction. The delegation was made up of 15 writers as well as artists from South Africa who were sponsored by the department. Response comes after the city press reported that authors slammed him for his choices made on the delegation for the Havana International Book Fair. I can pull you previous trips undertaken overseas and you will see who was excluded. I will never apologize for wanting to include all races. Racism shall never find a place under my watch. Lastly, to all these politically connected writers that are complaining, your time of giving instructions to my department is over. I don't care about the media. I dislike you in the same manner that you dislike me. Writers, write what you like. I have 1 million people follow me on all my socials. I will get my version across at any time. P.S. These leaks are straight from people in my department that I removed from this trip. Aha. So people in the Department of Sports, Arts, and Culture intentionally undermining Gate and McKenzie, according to him, because they are trying to get their politically connected black friends to go free, paid trip to Cuba. And Gate McKenzie says, nope. Notice this list, only black folks? No. You better put some color folks and white folks on who are writers and stop giving a skewed view of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Gate McKenzie stands up as an anti-racism stance. This is absolutely brilliant. If this is what it takes, one brick at a time, while the Democratic Alliance sleepwalks through the government national unity, complicit in the crimes of the ANC, well, thank goodness for Gate McKenzie, at least on this stance. He has a habit of putting his foot in his mouth and saying things that are race hustling or race tainted with his perception of things. But in this case, the man is definitely spot on. Well done to Gate McKenzie. He will definitely avoid our Mumpar of the Week award this week because he's completely the opposite of that. Well done. Firefighters continue to fight blazes in the Stellenbosch mountain area. A mountain fire along the Banhoek Valley has entered its second day despite cooler overnight temperatures, which aided firefighting efforts. Firefighters in the Cape Winelands district, along with their partners, are continuing with efforts. The Expropriation Act suffices. This, according to ANC's chief whip, after the MK party wants to submit a bill to change the expropriation law so they can take it off for the state. ANC considers the recently signed Expropriation Act as adequate for now. Yep. During a State of the Nation address, the MK party's state capture implicated chief whip Mzwanele Manyi said the act didn't go far enough. On the sidelines, the ANC caucus Lachota today, Chief Whip Mduzi Ntuli said, look, our attitude at the moment is that we have this new act, Expropriation Act, which has been signed into law by the president. In our own view, in the context of what we need to achieve immediately, that act suffices. Indeed, it does. Under the current law that is signed on the 23rd of January, but actually signed on the 20th of December, 2024, the expropriation without compensation allows the government at the national, the provincial, and the local level to expropriate any property at any time and give the flimsy excuse that it is in the public interest. The bill is not about land. You're all being fooled. Read the damn act. This is about expropriating property. Anyway, so this is what they want to do. But the MK wants to go further, as does the EFF. Well, no commercial farmers will leave, says a Free State farmer. And you know what? We don't give two shakes of a rat's ass, buddy. We don't care. You don't want to leave, that's your business. I've said, why would people want to leave? That's a personal decision. But to go to the press and for the press to go and constantly search for people who are not going to leave, you know what? Fine. Who cares? This is not a news story. But we'll cover it because they're making it a news story. Free State mega farmer Nick Serfontaine, who obviously has lots of money, lots of resources, and lots of land, and obviously is well off, is speaking for all Afrikaners. Is he here now? Thank you for speaking for all Afrikaners. Free State mega farmer Nick Serfontaine says he is less worried about the Expropriation Act, but more worried about how it was signed in Davos right after Argentina's Javier Milei's speech about without the other members of GNU know what was going on. He believes Afrikaner farmers are here to stay. I do not believe for 1 second that any real commercial farmer will leave. And those others who go must go. We will build our own country without them. He believes the issue to be moot. Well, good for you. I served on President Ramaphosa's advisory panel on land reform. Nick Serfontaine, complicit in the government's efforts to defraud you of your property. And of course, they go to Nick Serfontaine to say that no one's going to take you up on this offer. Yeah, in fact, that may be the case. And that's all fine and dandy, wonderful. Hey, that saves us money here in America. Yeah, great. But the reality here, my friend, is that Nick Serfontaine is part and parcel of this government action, the Committee on Land Reform. Yeah, okay. So is this the committee that didn't recommend real changes to South Africa's land policies? Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Nick Serfontaine, for playing. We'll move right along from that government propaganda news article in the Times Live. White South Africans gather in support of Trump and his claims that they are victims of racism. Well, in fact, they are, as are coloreds and Indians. Laws written against people, actions taken against people, are very much victims of racism. And to deny this is just racist. Some white South Africans showed support for President Donald Trump on Saturday, gathered at the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria to claim they're victims of racism by their own government. Hundreds of protesters placed placards that read, "Thank God for President Trump." Except it wasn't hundreds of protesters. It was thousands of protesters. They can deny it all they want, but the truth of the matter is it was thousands. Afrikaans crowd thanks Donald Trump for his support. News 24 says about 1,500 Afrikaners. Okay, that's a little better from the Washington Times, which is a conservative publication, but the article is written obviously by someone who has an objective there, they're not being honest, to the News 24, which says 1,500. To this story, which appeared first in the Independent line. To their credit, it was the first one. This is one that Divana Rajgopal wrote. This is one of the first to actually report on. It says Afrikaners support Trump outside the embassy. And here they say more than 3,000 people were at the rally. But they're quoting Willem Petzer. But they say that, look, there'll be less. But that's fair. That's fair reporting. South African envoys to lobby U.S. or lobby allies before they head to the U.S. Well, so I'm sorry. So let me get this straight. So Cyril Ramaphosa, the African National Congress, are complaining that the United States is interfering in the politics of South Africa. So they're sending their allies around, or they're sending their teams of negotiators around to their friendly countries to lobby them, to lobby the U.S., so that we give money to South Africa that isn't their money. Now, who's interfering in whose politics? You're sending your teams of diplomats and negotiators to all your friendly countries, so they will lobby the American embassies there, so they will lobby Washington, so that we give you $500 million that isn't yours. Now, who's interfering in whose politics there, Cyril? Sounds a lot more to me like you're interfering in our politics. It's our money, not yours. Yeah, look at this. The team will travel to France, Germany, China, Brazil, and other allies to try to muster support ahead of talks in Washington over breakdown relations. The relations are broken down because you're devious, underhanded, mischievous, lying communists. That's why they're broken down. If you want the relations to be strengthened, stop participating in Russia's nuclear program. Not Russia, well, Russia too, but Iran's nuclear program. Stop helping Iran develop nuclear weapons, South Africa. You want to have nice relations with us? There you go. Let's do that. How about you stop acting against U.S. national interests, training pilots for the People's Liberation Army in South Africa? Just a thought. How about you stop lying about America? And when we approach you politely and respectfully, diplomatically on an issue like the Lady R in 2023, and you ignore us for months on end, maybe that's not the best path. Maybe when our ambassador follows diplomatic protocol under the Vienna Conventions and approaches you quietly, discreetly, without going to the press or disclosing what we saw happen in Simonstown, maybe instead of ignoring us and fobbing us off like we're unwanted stepchildren in the Cape Flats, maybe, just maybe, you could say to us what actually happened when we ask. But if you say it's an internal matter, that's fine. We will expose it for what the Lady R actually did. And that's what Ruben Burgundy did. Moving right along. I love the hypocrisy here. Now, this is shocking. This is where I've not reported on. It's been going on for a few days. 117 cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease in Durban schools and creches. Good God. I thought this was just for cattle. I'm being facetious. I know what it is. The KwaZulu Health Department is visiting and learning facilities in Durban. At least 117 cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease reported at primary schools. Wow, the first 6 cases started on February 6th. Numbers have been increasing dramatically. Health officials say there's no need for alarm. In all instances, learners were found to be suffering from flu-like symptoms as well as blisters and swollen hands. So sending your kids to school where they get poisoned with hand, foot, and mouth disease, nothing to worry about. Don't worry about that, nothing to see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's an interesting development for those in the colored community and those in the Khoisan community and those who've long watched this program where I know I promote those communities. Interesting development here. A conference came up with a plan to establish a Khoisan superstructure. The Cooperative Governance Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa said that they will coordinate the inaugural meeting of the newly established National Khoisan Interim Consultative Forum, which will be representative of all the stems, including the National Khoisan Council. Spoken last day of a 3-day all-inclusive national convention of the Khoisan community leaders at the Birchwood Conference Center in Ekurhuleni, where they gather, discuss, and find permanent solutions to challenges raised by the community. Interesting. It will consist of 25 members representing the 5 main groupings of the Khoisan: the Griqua, the Cape Khoi, the Korana, the Nama, and the San. Well, congratulations. That's interesting. So, interesting development there for the Khoisan. Well, South African land issues. Apparently, it's all about white people's fears and not the hopes of black Africans. What? A panel of experts has shared their view on recent land issues South Africans are talking about. This was the News 24 panel that I did not follow the other day, and so here's a news report on it. He said, we're discussing the sort of white fears and farmer fears, property owner fears. What we're not discussing are the expectations of African people. When they hear us talking about an Expiration Act, they think finally the aspirations of freedom are going to start. We know this Expiration Act is not going to even the noise around its diversionary noise from the work that must fulfill the Constitution. We're spending 45 minutes of this talk, the bulk of spent on white fears. Well, that's because you people are fools. And had I been part of that News 24 panel, I would have just said, stop talking about land. This isn't about land. This is about political control. This is about silencing critics of the state. That's what this is about. That's why expropriation without compensation, a law that violates the Section 25 of the South African Constitution, was passed. That's why you did it. That's why you did it. That's what it's all about. And if you think it only affects white people, you're an idiot. This isn't about white people. This is about exerting political control and taking things from people with no compensation because you can at the national, the provincial, and the municipal level. That's what it's all about. It's only a matter of time, a la Zimbabwe, that an MP or a minister or connected person who knows a cater walks up on your farm, on your flat, on your house, and expropriates your property in the public interest. So I'm sorry, Temba Toby. You may be right. You're all talking about white fears. He's actually correct. They should be telling the truth. But it's not what you say about black fears. It's about everybody's fears. Vast acreage of South Africa is still owned by the National Party. What? Still registered to vote in the Bantustans. Wow. South Africa's land question has once again been thrust to the fore with the pressure from the DA and President Trump and his right-hand man, Elon Musk. None of that's a true statement. Now, meanwhile, some of the land expropriated by the former apartheid government is still registered to entities of the repressive regime. The Department of Land Reform and Rural Development is still in the process of developing, formally vesting or transferring ownership from the previous government. Millions of hectares of rural land are still registered to apartheid entities such as Bantustan Homelands, the Native Affairs Ministry, and Prime Minister Verwoerd. Interesting. Though pieces of land are administered by the government, it's unclear why the ownership hasn't formally been transferred. The properties that are still registered under the former Homelands governments have to be vested under the national government of South Africa, depending on the current land use. The Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, or Public Works and Infrastructure will remain the nominal owner of such land. Yeah, well, there is no such ministry. The Ministry of Agriculture has been split from land reform. So why is that land 31 years later not transferred to the government of South Africa? They need to expropriate land when they have land. They're not taking it? Nonsense. Black card chaos. Millions of grant recipients have to switch or lose out. The date is fast approaching, folks. More than 2 million welfare recipients have until March 20th to switch to the Postbank Black Card to access their social grant payments. Interesting, they're getting a postcard from the Postbank, which is bankrupt. Anyway, Postbank and South African Social Security Agency have ramped up efforts to communicate with recipients about the expiry date of the old SASA Gold Card. Well, guess what? You're not going to get anything because you won't have a new card. 2 more accused appear in the court for Steinhoff fraud and racketeering. Ladies and gentlemen, the Steinhoff case is from 2018. 2018, I know, because I have a Blitzbach jersey which has Steinhoff as the advertiser on the front of it. And I wore that on the plane to Las Vegas, where I met a South African. And I'm one of the few people to have one of those jerseys that has Steinhoff on it because they stopped making them because that was as the saga unfolded. And after Justa killed himself, this is still going on. 2 more people in the docket 7 years later. Well, weather in South Africa, showers in several provinces. It's warm in the northern and western Cape. Cloudy, cool weather with widespread showers and thunderstorms expected in the Gauteng, Northwest, and Mpumalanga provinces. Turning our attention, neighboring Botswana, expecting to see 3.3% GDP growth in 2025 as the diamond market recovers. Botswana's economy is forecast to grow 3.3% this year after contraction last year. This growth outlook is premised on recovery of the diamond industry, which is expected in the latter part of 2025 and continued positive sentiment in the non-diamond mining sectors. Folks, once again, for those just tuning in now, the chat function is turned off for this so I can deliver the news. After the news is over, I will entertain questions. We've had a habit of people doing me, and a few trolls coming into the chat trying to disrupt the news. So a lot of people come here for the news and analysis, and that's what you're getting on this Sunday. But be patient. After it's over, I'll be happily answering questions to the best of my ability. M23 rebels in the Congo have seized the airport. Wow. As Tshisekedi looks for support in Munich. A spokesman for the Rebel Alliance includes the M23 rebels said in a post on Twitter that they were in control of the airport and surrounding areas. They've been pushing south towards Bukavu since they seized Goma at the end of January. Not good, folks. Hey, let's take a look at what Europe's population is going to look like in the year 2100. According to United Nations estimates, this is what Europe's population will look like. So, you can see the gain. Finland is going to lose 1 million people, which will be disastrous. That's like 20% of its population. Estonia will lose 518,000. Latvia, almost 1 million. Lithuania, 1.6 million. Poland will lose 18 million population. Germany, 13 million. And Germany would be more closer to 24 million had it not been for illegal immigrants coming there. Even Iceland expected to lose 35,000 population. Ireland, 21,000. That's not going to happen because the country is being turned over to illegal immigrants and it's not Irish anymore. But Great Britain will gain 4.8 million because of the flood of immigrants there. Ukraine expected to lose 23 million. That's half the population. That's crazy. France will gain 1.8 million. This is crazy. Eastern European countries all lose population under this estimate. Every single Eastern European country. Italy will lose a crushing 23.8 million people in this estimate. This comes courtesy of the visual capitalist. That's pretty frightening depopulation for Europe, which will not happen because these countries will be flooded by people who aren't European. Spain will also lose 15 million, according to this estimate. Marco Rubio met with Benjamin Netanyahu as Trump tries to shape the situation in the Middle East. Hamas must be eradicated and praises Trump's plan to displace Gazans. That's what Marco Rubio has to say. Little Marco. Speaking in Jerusalem after meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Rubio said the release of the remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas wasn't optional. He praised President Trump's plan for the U.S. to take control of Gaza and move nearly 2 million Palestinians out of the enclave. Interesting development there. Hamas has released 3 more hostages. They paraded 3 Israeli hostages through a large crowd before releasing them in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. This is Sagi Dekel Chen released. He braces his wife. This is reunited. The hostages, all who claim to be dual citizens, were released and sent for medical evaluation. Russia's advance in Ukraine has slowed down. Let's take a look at the situation today. This is how much of the southeastern portion of Ukraine the Russians hold. Luhansk, which was a main battle site for many, many months, is well behind Russian lines now. And Donetsk, another site well into the advance, is also well behind Russian lines as Ukrainian forces cannot hold. A 23-year-old man stabbed 6 people in Austria. Of course, this is an illegal immigrant who did this. Why did they say a 23-year-old man? Killing one 14-year-old boy. This is the city of Villach, which is a place I've been to in Österreich. A 23-year-old man stabbed 6 passersby in southern Austria on Saturday, what police said was a random attack that left the 14-year-old. It wasn't a random attack. It was an illegal alien who did this. Suspect was detained. The 42-year-old man who works for a food company witnessed the incident from his car. The victims were all men, 2 seriously wounded. No, one was a 14-year-old boy. One was a 14-year-old boy. So the victims were all men. But then here, Peter Kaiser, the governor of the Austrian province of Carinthia, says his condolences to the family of a 14-year-old victim. 14-year-old victim. You're saying they're all men. What the hell? This is unbelievable. Not once do they tell you who this person is. He's an illegal alien. Wow. Unbelievable. This is a conservative outlet in America not even telling the truth about this. Defiant Canadians mark their flag's anniversary as Trump hopes to make their country a state. We don't really want Canada to be a state. You can keep Canada. You got too many wackadoodle leftists up there. You can keep Canada to yourself. But I will tell you this. It is interesting that Canadians actually give a flying flip about their country. I visited Canada during the sesquicentennial when I went up for a qualification game in Hamilton between the U.S. and Canada's rugby sides. And that game, I went all over Ontario. Not a single mention of the sesquicentennial and any pride for the 150th anniversary as an independent nation. Never happened. So, you can talk all you want about Canadian pride, but we know that for most Canadians, they're ashamed of being Canadian and afraid to show it. And those who show their patriotism, they call gauche and rude and arrogant. Well, those who hide their patriotism are cowards. Donald Trump has fired 20 Biden immigration judges, and none too soon. The Trump administration canned 20 midnight immigration judges of the Biden administration. 13 were hired in late December and early January, were fired on Friday. 7 assistant chief immigration judges were also axed. The House clean matches one the Biden administration did when it took office in 2021, clearing out many Trump picks from immigration courts. So the press, this is conservative press, no doubt will cry about this. Trump has fired all the judges. Biden did the same thing. He fired all of Trump's judges. And these are ones just hired to rig the system. Thousands of probationary employees have been fired as the Trump administration directs agencies to carry out widespread layoffs. Yep. The altimeter in the Black Hawk helicopter in midair collision in the D.C. area just opposite of Reagan National Airport on the Potomac River, in which 67 people died in a midair collision. The altimeter may have been malfunctioning. So they keep trying to blame the Army helicopter pilots, but it appears that the altimeter was not functioning properly. The National Transportation Safety Board chairman, Jennifer Homide, said the collision between the helicopter and the CRJ airplane happened above 278 feet above the river. Helicopters supposed to be flying no higher than 200. Remember, they're flying in the dark at night, and the altimeter is telling them they're at 200 feet or lower, and it's apparently at 278. But the data coming from the black box is conflicting, so we don't really know. They're trying to sort it out. ICE raids around the country have sent a chill through migrant workforces. Let's be very clear, folks. They're not migrant workforces. If you're a migrant in America, you have nothing to fear. Migrants are here legally. We let you come in the country, and you work here, and we appreciate your labor. And then you leave because you're on a temporary visa. Migrants. But people falsely call migrants who are criminal alien invaders who violate our sovereignty and invade our country by crossing our borders at not a legitimate border post, invade here, steal people's social security numbers, depress labor rates, and take housing and social services away from Americans, and legal residents are not welcome and are criminals. And you can hit the road, Jack, and don't look back. Don't look back. They're not migrants, Wall Street Journal. What happened to this once proud publication now captured by the left? Wow. Escalating immigration raids and deportations are prompting some migrants to stay home from work, unsettling employers and industries that have long relied on foreign-born labor. Now, that's a lie. That's a lie. If you're here legitimately, you're not staying home from work. Oh, my God, it's terrible. Legal or illegal, everyone's scared. Well, why would you be scared if you're legal? Why would you be scared if you're not committed a crime? You have nothing to worry about. Education Department was telling the states to end their diversity, equity, and non-inclusion in schools or risk the end of federal funding. State departments are given 14 days to ensure compliance. So these state departments of education around the country, including Pennsylvania, have 14 days to end this nonsense of racially discriminatory DEI practices. The letter penned by Craig Traynor, Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights in the Education Department, condemns what it describes as an overt and covert racial discrimination in K through 12 schools and universities, particularly in the banner of DEI over the past 4 years. It specifically criticized practice such as discriminating against white and Asian students, promoting ideas including the United States was built on systemic racism, and encouraging segregation by race at graduation ceremonies and in student housing. Such practice, the letter says, will no longer be tolerated. The law is clear. Treating students differently on the basis of race to achieve nebulous goals such as diversity, racial balancing, social justice, or equity is illegal under controlling Supreme Court precedent and under the Constitution. Under the Constitution. They've gotten away with this racial discrimination for decades, and it has come to an end. Welcome to the real world. Ladies and gentlemen, the city of Harrisburg is illegally in violation of U.S. federal law, which is a 5-year felony conviction for each instance, encouraging illegal aliens on how to avoid arrest. City of Harrisburg takes down a Facebook post providing tips on how to avoid the Immigration Customs Enforcement. U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement conducts raids across the country. The City of Harrisburg says it's not working with the agency. The shared post included images that seemed to provide tips on how to avoid ICE and what to do if agents show up at your door. The post claimed Harrisburg police and ICE are working together, which isn't true. They said, I have no idea how someone got that through, the spokesman said. We have no affiliation with ICE. However, we have no power to stop them. The city communications manager said the post was put on the city site by accident. Yeah, sure, it was by accident. Yeah, you criminals keep the crap up. You're going to find out the hard way. You're going to find out the hard way what the inside of a federal prison cell looks like. Keep violating law and keep putting the lives of law enforcement officials and the general public at risk by warning criminal alien invaders how to escape federal authorities and wind up in dangerous car chases, runs down on the streets, and weapons issues. You're going to get people killed, and you will pay as a accessory to a homicide or manslaughter. Well, the United States is angry about tariffs. Countries throughout the world are abusing our good nature and have been doing so for decades with the willful knowledge of our officials in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is putting an end to that. Let's take a look at what the United States does when it comes to average tariffs. Even the BBC, government propaganda, BBC admits that the United States has a lower average external tariff on goods and imports than many of its trading partners. India has an average of 17%, South Korea 13%, Brazil 11%, Vietnam 9%, China 7.5%, Mexico 7%. The European Union charges an average of 5%, the UK nearly 4%, Japan nearly 4%, but the USA charges an average of just 3%, 2.8% tariffs. You take us for fools. You take us for fools. And that is coming to an end. Get used to it. Folks, hang on. The chat will come on here shortly. Donald Trump steamrolls the Democrats with his full court press and flood the zone strategy. Donald Trump is everywhere all the time, and they don't know how to react. Around the White House, some call it a season 2 of the reality show, only it's with a bigger budget. Companies, in fact, pitch reality shows on President Trump's seismic comeback, according to people involved in the discussions, but the offers were turned down. Trump is now producing his own choreographic return that has left critics, the press, breathless and rattled. The strategy shows supporters he's eager to keep campaign promises, strike a contrast with the stamina of former President Biden, and disrupt Washington to a degree he fell short of in his first term. The pace and volume has sometimes frustrated some of Trump's Republican allies who, like Trump's Democratic opponents, are struggling to keep up. Good. Keep them off balance, keep them off their feet. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon, the world's best banker, rants against working from home. Well, thank you for coming to the party 5 years late there, Jamie. All the damage has been done to our work ethic. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon bashed work from home at a town hall with employees this week. JP Morgan told its employees they are working the office 3 days a week. They will start coming full-time next month. When asked if he would leave discretion about hybrid work arrangements to managers, he said, there's no choice that I will leave it up to managers. Zero chance. The abuse that took place is extraordinary. Work from home Friday works. I call a lot of people on Fridays, and there's not a damn person you can't get a hold of. Or you can get a hold of. Excuse me. Wow. I've had it with this kind of stuff. I've been asking, working 7 days a week since COVID. Oh, he's been working 7 days since COVID, and I come in, and where's everybody else? They're here, they're there. The Zooms don't show up. Yep, exactly. The scam has been going on for 5 years, and if it took you 5 years to fix the problem, Jamie Dimon, then you're part of the problem, my friend. You may be the smartest banker in the world, but you're not a very good leader when you allow these people to get away with this crap for 5 years. Why? Because you kowtowed to the political left when they were in power, and now you're not getting any pressure from the government, so you do what you're supposed to do. That's political cowardice. Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. is in, and the left is losing their mind. Is health in America on its way out? No. This guy believes in health. He's one of the fittest people for 70 or the septuagenarian. This guy is doing 100 push-ups. RFK Jr. has fought Big Pharma and Big Food, but he's also spread dangerous misinformation about vaccines, fluoride, and even HIV. And now he's going to run the U.S. health system. No, he's not. Health and Human Services doesn't run a health system. We don't have a health system. I'm sorry, Ida Eusta, you don't know anything about America. If you think we have a health system, there's a health system. There are private Lutheran hospitals, Catholic hospitals, city, municipal-run hospitals, for-profit hospitals, VA hospitals, military hospitals. Wow, state-run hospitals. We have no health system. It doesn't exist. You are wrong, and he's not running our health system. He has claimed that HIV is not the sole cause of AIDS. I'm sorry, you're going to write an op-ed on that? What, did you write op-eds, Miss Eusta, about Thabo and Becky denying HIV even played a role in it? I'm just curious. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. I wasn't there. And this gentleman has driven his vintage Volvo from one side of North America to the other. Check out this ancient car this fellow's got. Now, there's a Volvo. Joe Lazenby has amassed an extensive collection of vintage Volvo cars and parts for over 40 years. His 1963 Volvo PV544 holds a special place in his heart. The model helped create the brand's international reputation for safety and reliability. He's let him connect with people and explore scenic roads across North America. Joe Lazenby, 78 years of age, lives in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right down the street from my house. Yep, he owns Susquehanna Spares, a company that specializes in vintage Volvo parts, on his 1963 PV544. I was always interested in old cars, and while I was a teacher and then a guidance counselor for 30 years, I always involved in old cars. In 1973, my brother was living in Vermont, and he saw that other people were driving Volvos. He bought one, and this is how I first got interested. There you go. Check it out, man. I think I'm going to go try to do a story on this. He's right down the road here in Harrisburg. There he is. Look at the engine, man. Woo. Needs a little clean there, Joe. Sorry, your engine's not very clean for a classic car, buddy. 1,800 cubic centimeter inline 4-cylinder, 1.8 liter engine. Look at that dashboard, man. Those are the days that make cars. Look at that. When you spend that kind of time in an old car, you bond with it. Yeah, driving across the country, I'd imagine so. Wow, days gone by, man. Remember these cars. The best part about it all is the people have gotten to meet, like friends I've made in the U.S., Canada, Sweden, even Brazil. You aren't going to make much money taking old cars apart and selling the parts. So the people I've met, the places I've gone to, have enriched my life to an unbelievable extent. Of all my cars that have come my way, my PV544 is the one I would never sell, not the car or any part of it. Wow. Well, Mr. Lazenby, awesome. Pretty cool stuff. And I see that about 100 people left. They obviously weren't here for the news. So, all right, we're going to open it up to chat now, folks. And let me get to that. I'll edit this, and we'll turn the chat on. Where the heck's that? Okay. Live chat is now turned on. Okay. All right, the chat function is on, folks. You should be able to chat now if you want. All right, welcome to the program. It's Sunday, 16th of February, 2025, and greetings to everyone out there. And we'll see who's actually paying attention. There's Awkward Leon. Somebody's paying attention. There you go. Welcome, Awkward Leon. Glad to see you join me there. Thank you for your patience, folks. But I hope people understand that I've been unable to get to the news because so many people, we're down to 632. We lost 100 people. See, those people aren't really here to listen to this channel. They don't really care about this channel. They just came here so they can pester me about things they could find out on their own, or that I've already told them, or they're unwilling to watch videos because they're too lazy, the people who left. But thank you to those who stayed. I'm grateful you're here. It's nice to have you here, and I hope that you appreciated that. I won't do that all the time, but it was necessary. It's a Sunday. It's just been too much. I spent 3 hours answering questions again last night, so welcome. You have to refresh to see the chat. Refresh the page, folks. Refresh the page. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. You must refresh the page. Awkward Leon, Gerard, Pablo Charlie, Hendo, Ludwig, Die Blixen, Pablo Charlie, Jed Phillips. I don't care. I don't care. What a great song. Let's see. Angie van Lonen, welcome, Angie. DeBaron, welcome to you. Freya Menzel, guten Tag. Waldo van der Walt, Erica, hey Erica, Francois Leroux, Roxy, Armageddon, Zodorf, Charmaine, Leslie, and Moon. Fred. Hey, Fred, how's it going? It jumped on me there. The chat's coming in quick now. Very quickly coming in. And Matthew Dixon, let's watch the Bulls and Sharks game again. Okay, Matthew, let's not. Kai, welcome to you. And Michael Neustadt, welcome to you. Cool, Gerard de Blixem, Emil Thaird, Alan Coates, Oki, PD DeCont. For a moment, I thought my phone was screwed. Nope. The weekend is over. Thanks for the news. You're welcome, chappies. 1440, let the repetitive questions commence. Exactly. Meerkat, welcome to you. Jacques Nolte. And Elizabeth Bezuidenhout, thank you for subscribing. James Wallace, welcome to you. Delaney Hall, Niels Britz, Troiko, Ellie, Christian Peterse, Chronic, Garrett Gillich, Kevin Ziller, Jarethra. The chat can be very distracting. It's good you switched off. It is. It's very distracting, particularly when people come in there and try to troll. When people get into arguments, they miss the news. And then I mention the news, and the people were here are like, hey, Chris, what about this? I mentioned that half an hour ago. You didn't catch it. I like the whole, I think I'm going to go check the guy out, man. Apparently AOC is also now in trouble for having, she's going to go to jail. I cannot wait. Yeah, freedom of speech is amazing. Oh, Pablo being a smart ass because now he can chat. The G-man in the house. Okay, Willem Duplessis, welcome to you. Oh, boy. Everybody's jumping in the chat. That's great. Usona, rule number 90 of life. Most people don't know what they're talking about, even if they read up on it. If they've read up on it, they haven't enough and ensured that the sources are good. There you go. Marlena von der Linde, welcome to you. Neville Purden, how's your mom? Enjoyed listening to the news without interruption. Yeah, I think a lot of people will appreciate that. So thank you all for your patience and the people who came and left. I mean, we have 633 people currently watching. We've had 2,756 tune in for this live stream. So the following happened. Maybe my video was promoted and people weren't familiar with it, so they went there and looked at it and it wasn't their cup of tea. That could explain some of the 2,100 people who aren't here now. But a lot of those people came here and they wanted to pester me about things and ask me the same question over and over again. And when I didn't answer their attention seeking, they left. And that's fine. That's your prerogative. But it's very inconsiderate of others. Now it's open. You can ask me questions. I'm happy to take them. And for anybody who gets their panties in a bunch, be more patient with people. Why are you yelling at people? I'm not impatient and I'm not yelling at people. If you're so thin-skinned that you can't ask a question on a YouTube broadcast for fear of someone giving you a PK, well, then maybe your interest isn't genuine. Get a little thicker skin. Can I bring my pets? Can I join the army? When can we come? You can't bring your pets. You can't join the army and can never come, cool. Hey, Steven. What's going on there? Neville says, thank you. Enjoy the news without interruption. ACP Picks. Good evening to you. Rudy Moore. Lekka Sunday. Yes, indeed. Had to refresh for the chat. Thanks for the news. You're welcome, Wade, George, Pierre. Orban is in. How's it going, Pierre? Dick Boer, love this concept. Well, we used to do this because people were doing this before, but it's just, look, folks, I gave it a week. I gave it a week because I understand that people are anxious, they're concerned, they're worried, they're fearful. I get that. And that's my government's fault for failing to announce the parameters of this program when President Trump's executive order came out. That's what should have been done. That wasn't done. I get where people are coming from, and I appreciate their concerns and their fears. Therefore, I gave it a week, but it has turned a lot of people off, and it's very frustrating. And quite frankly, it's becoming very rude. Once again, this morning, my private email address, I have several emails from people whom I never gave my email address to. I did not send them to contact me. I appreciate they sent me mail, but I mean, if you think I'm going to be able to answer your questions, people are telling me, get some sleep, Chris, you're tired, you're grumpy, you're angry. I'm not. And I'm getting the sleep that I need. Thank you for your concern. But the reason I'm getting less sleep than I would desire is because I spend hours going through text messages, going through WhatsApp messages, going through emails. Thank you, Shen. From people who are not watching the video and seem to think that I am the State Department. And I appreciate your questions, but folks, I mean, do you honestly expect me to be able to answer 15,000 emails and text messages that were unsolicited from numbers I don't recognize? I mean, I'm rivaling MTN with my address book. I mean, my phone is going to have to be shut down. Yesterday, my battery is at 38%, and I didn't even make a single phone call. It's at 30%. It's at 30% this morning. 30, and I haven't even used my phone. Hang on a second. 30%. You probably can't see that right up there. It says 30%. See that? 30% this morning. 30%. I haven't even used my phone because people sending me messages. I'm not complaining about people sending messages, folks, but if you expect an answer, it's very, very crazy. I mean, I don't know what planet you're living on. I'll do my best to answer, but please watch the videos. Is it too much to ask to watch the videos? Now, it's too much to ask for people to watch. Thank you. It is too much to ask for people to come watch the 3-hour stream. I get that. That's fair enough. I appreciate that because we go all over the place, go back and forth. But the videos are made. 14 frequently asked questions. It's 18 minutes. It takes you longer for me to get to your chat question here than it does to go watch that video. It answers almost every question except the livestock. I mean, I didn't anticipate that one. Can we bring our livestock? No, I'm sorry, you can't. And I intentionally left, can I bring my guns out of the video, because I didn't want to discuss that. So anyway, but that's been asked too. Silver Bullet Trader, welcome to you. Gerard Johan Vogt, evening. Gina Mollman's back. Charmaine, it was nice to get the news. Selvin van dem Eve, Johan Prat, and I got through the news much quicker. Got through it in a little over 30 minutes there. Marty, Yolanda van Rensburg, Lucinda Dutoy, welcome to you. Peter Talliard, Venetia Rin, Charmaine Oosthuizen, Meerkat, Vincent Neethling. I recently found your channel and it really find interesting. Well, thank you, Vincent. Please check out my older content, like the Groot Constantia video. I would really appreciate if people look at that video. Trying desperately to get that thing some real views. It's a fantastic documentary. I'm not the filmmaker. Let me get the link. I'm going to put that in this document that I use here. Hang on a second. There you go. It's got a few views because some of you have gone, but not nearly the tens of thousands who joined the channel have bothered to check it out when I've asked them to. So let me put that up here. I've got all these groups that we put together, but this is a Groot Constantia one. Hang on a second. I want to save this and I'll put it in here. And the reason I did this is because it's a bit much to ask my mods to take care of this all the time. Constantia. Okay, all right, so here we go. Here's the link. Don't do it now, folks, but go check it out later on, okay? And somebody just became a member. Ellie, thank you. What's with the membership surge? I appreciate it. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. But I really appreciate it if you stay more than 30 days. That would be nice. That would be super nice. And Isaac Yannicke just subscribed. Thank you for that. Okay, so Annette Appel, welcome to you. Vincent Neethling, thank you for finding the channel. JJ van der Merwe, Leana van Wyk. Okay, so that's a link to the Groot Constantia video. It's a short one. It's about 20 minutes, but it's a documentary. I think you'll love it. It's really well done professionally. Jed says, Chris, what do you think of J.D. Vance's speech in Munich? I think that J.D. Vance's speech at Munich was brilliant. And again, remember, I wasn't in favor of J.D. Vance as vice president. I didn't think he was the right guy. I don't like his condescending book and his factually incorrect book, Hillbilly Elegy, which was very insulting to my people from Appalachia. I'm a real Appalachian, not J.D. Vance, who's a weekend Appalachian who went to see his grandma in the mountains in the summertime. We lived there year-round and suffered through the deprivation and poverty of Appalachia. So I didn't appreciate his hick references to my people. But, you know, he's proven to be quite a force and a force for good. It was brilliant calling them out. And then listen to Pistorius from the German government get up and go, oh, that was quite rude. We're not censorship. I'm sorry. You're not a censorship. You're trying to arrest Elon Musk for using free speech on the Twitter platform, encouraging people to vote for the Alternative for Deutschland, a group that you illegally, unconstitutionally, in violation of the Grundgesetz, have contorted the use of intelligence to spy on that group, falsely claiming they're a neo-Nazi organization. They're a legitimate political party. The fact that they don't want criminal alien invaders in their midst raping their daughters in the villages of Solingen, throughout the provinces of Thüringen and Baden-Baden, oh my goodness, Baden-Württemberg, it doesn't make them racist. It makes them real people, unlike these leftists in the CDU, which is supposed to be a conservative party. Travis says, thank you for the news. You're welcome. Moby Tick, welcome. Etienne von Rooyen. Melinda Perkins, Carl S. June. I see Carl S. June, and I'm thinking of Carl's Jr. That's a restaurant here in America. Sloth Puppy says, greetings from me and a goat called Charmaine. We're not going to let that go, are we? The Schuss beer and the goat called Charmaine aren't going anywhere. The Hot Fold Bikers, I love that old Volvo. You must definitely do a story. Yeah, I'll go find the guy. In fact, I'll try to do that maybe tomorrow if the weather's clean. I'll go find his shop. Tom Smith, Davy Williamson, Louisa Rautenbach, Johannes Badenhorst, Willy DeWitt, Dwayne Ferry. Oops, we just jumped up a bit there. Let me get back here. Wow, we jumped up quite a bit there. Okay. The chat's coming in wild and fast and furious. Cool beans. Wow. Okay, I'm way behind. Let me catch up. Yeah, Meerkat likes the idea of muting in the chat when I'm doing that. Okay, I've already been here. Hey, Colonel, thank you so much for the hard work you're doing, says the Corvus Crypt. You're very welcome. Xander van Rensburg, welcome to you again. The Fox, you're welcome. Jeske Zlutz, welcome to you. Thank you, Chris. Please do this all the time. First the news, a million questions come later. Yeah, Jeske, maybe that's what I'll do. Now that we have we built, I don't want to say hardcore, but the devoted number of people is beyond those that have been here forever. Why is my sound not on? Is my sound too low? Hang on a second. I got to play something because I can't hear that alert. So let me just find something to play here quick. Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy because let me just I need to find some. Okay, hello. Come on. Where's the media? There's something wrong with my sound here.
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
It's working.
And Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.
I don't feel that way.
You're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you.
Oh, this musical interlude brought to you by no sponsors. Yeah, okay, my sound's working. I don't know why that's not coming up now. I heard it that time, but it wasn't there a few moments ago. Yeah, I probably, so now that we have a core that's larger than the devoted, hardcore, same old suspects, the usual suspects, Kaiser Sose crowd that have been with me for years, and it's a bigger crowd, I will switch back to this probably if people like this format. All right, Gerd Gillich, du alte Knabe, wie geht's dann eigentlich in Somerset Fest? Ja, sag mir Bescheid. Ich habe ja Interesse. Was ist denn los in Somerset West? Yeah, his speech was brilliant in Munich. Zander van Rensburg, de Barum. I've been noticing news surrounding employment disparities. Seems like President Trump had pushed a few buttons. Oh, yeah. And there's Zema Volmeran has become a member. Thank you for that. Ken says, Chris, great stuff. What a pleasure getting straight to the news for which I subscribe, not wanting an hour of hulos and BS. You're very welcome, Ken. Ken is also an OG, an original gangster. Ken Aronson, been with us since the outset. Although Ken got mad at me once upon a time and disappeared for a while. We've sorted out our non-disagreement. Good to see you again, Ken. He's always there, but usually not chatting. Jarethra, there's Hendo. Always there, Hendo. What else we got there? Me. I like that, Ludwig. Very good. Trevor Bezuidenhout, you're very welcome for the news update. Pablo Charlie. Jan van Vollenhoven. Chris, if we manage to come to America, I should interview. Some of us think I would give amazing views on all media platforms. You want to interview people or you want me to interview people? Chris, hope you got less snow than we did. Not too bad, but well, I got some snow, but it turned to slush pretty quickly, or as we say in German, Matsch slush. But it made it easy to shovel up. It was just heavy, but it went quickly. No, we didn't get a whole lot here. Angie Swat, so welcome to you. And Derek DePrier, good evening to you, Fred. And thanks for the news. You're welcome, Janice. Meerkat, can't believe the stupid questions asked about this refugee thing of livestock. My goodness, honestly think you can take blah, blah, black sheep with you. Meerkat, look, people are scared. They don't know better. They're fair questions. They're coming from well-educated people and from people who don't have the benefit of much education. So coming across the spectrum. And it's not meant to disparage anyone. You notice I didn't say it was, and I haven't laughed about the questions because I understand where people are coming. Mother Goose, please, when you give information for refugee program, also give information for pensioners. There are so many stories that are scaring pensioners. Well, there you go, Mother Goose. What do you mean give information for pensioners? The refugee program is for people, not pensioners, not farmers, not white people, not black people. It's for people. And who the people that qualify is yet to be determined. The only information we have is Afrikaners who are racially discriminated against. If you're an Afrikaner who racially discriminated against, if you're a pensioner, it doesn't matter. What information are you looking for, Mother Goose? Are you asking me if we're going to give you money as a retiree? Roxy, welcome to you. If you're questioning, is the United States government going to give you a free ride? I'm not saying you're saying this, a free ride and give you money so you can survive on. The short answer is there is relocation assistance, stipends and such to get people here. The long answer is after you're of retirement age, I'm not sure how that works. I mean, I know that our government is handing out money like bubblegum to people who never paid into Social Security. Social Security is supposed to be a pay-into concept. But for decades, we've been giving money to people who aren't even American citizens who come here and work, some illegally by stealing Social Security numbers, and many people who've never contributed to the system. My grandmother never worked a formal day in her life for a business where she paid Social Security tax, yet she collected a Social Security check the last 10 or 15 years of her life. That's not fair. It's not fair to people like me who pay taxes. I'm glad my grandmother got that money, and that was in the 1980s. She died in the early 1990s, but that's wrong. So my short answer is I figure, Mother Goose, that you probably get Social Security even though you didn't pay into it. So they're not going to bring you here to be destitute. But I don't have an answer beyond that, Mother Goose. I hope that's where your question was going. From the text, it wasn't clear. But my answers on the refugee resettlement program are not for pensioners. They're not for farmers. The program isn't for farmers. The program isn't for pensioners. The program is for racially discriminated South Africans. That's who it's for. And until they give more information, that's who it's for. Closing the chat for the news was a great idea. Yep. Well, I was going to do it last night, but last night I went ahead and I went for an hour and a half not talking about that stuff. And then I got to it. And we spent another hour doing it, 2 hours doing that, an hour and a half. The hotful bikers thinks people are making me hot for stupid questions. No, it's not that. I don't want to turn off my viewers. I mean, I got some really wonderful people who watch this program and are here consistently. And why would I turn off people like Ken Arnston or Erica or Hendo who've been here or Dylan Comberg or Val Cooper who've been with us from the very beginning, and Arctic. Don't forget about Arctic. Who've been with us from the very beginning, just because they come here for the news. That's why they've always come along, and my commentary and analysis. And for those who've been with the program over the years, we tried the format different ways. We tried it where only members were allowed to chat. That didn't work so well. We tried it where I simply turned off the chat, and I did 30 minutes of news. I tried to keep it to that, but then we didn't get into the in-depth, and I didn't get into the analysis of the news in the way that I needed to. And then we just kind of go with the ebb and flow. And I might, a few months down the road when this stuff calms down, switch back to letting people chat during the news. I find that very handy. I actually like it, but I like it when people are, adding something to a story I just talked about, rather than, can I bring my sheep? No, you can't bring a sheep. Can I bring my 1963 classic Toyota? No, you can't. Can I bring my Datsun? You have a Datsun? They still around? Yeah. No, those are called something else now. No, you can't do that. Angel Mist is happy you found my channel. Well, I'm glad you found it too. It's so nice to find people on the channel as we work our way towards 50,000 subscribers. Only about 954,000 fewer than we should have on this channel. 44,326 subscribers as of this morning. It's slowed down on a Sunday. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Relocating pets will set you back per pet. It's my concern. Yeah, Michael Neustadt, I don't know how that's going to work, and none of us do, but thank you for your clear-headed response. I've talked about this endlessly. I had 2 cats when I went to Botswana, and South Africa's immigration requirements for pets for veterinary services outrageously expensive. They steal money out of your pocket with no reason, no justification whatsoever. The pets weren't even going to South Africa. They were transiting through the airport to Botswana. I had to leave them in South Africa like a week or 10 days, something like that, and I had to pay a fortune for the services and fees. It was all just money stolen, put right into somebody's pocket. Another scam that the South African government puts in place, just like when I came back from Arusha and my immunization card was printed on white paper, not on yellow paper, and the same immigration official and the diplomatic, there's a super chat from Arctic. Thank you. Where's my bell? Where the heck's my bell at? Where's my bell? Who stole my bell? Arctic, have you been in my house? There. He doesn't like the bell. All right. I came back from Arusha. I had gone to 3 conferences of the span of 6 weeks in Tanzania, which is yellow fever zone. I had a yellow fever immigration card. I had shown the same one, the white printed one from the government. It showed that I had had the immunization. It was still valid because it's good for 10 years. The first time, no problem. A few weeks later, second time, no problem. Third time I come through, he says, you haven't been immunized. I said, yeah, I have. No, this isn't acceptable. It has to be yellow. There's no requirement from the World Health Organization that the paper be yellow, pink, blue, green, or what. It's just traditionally a yellow book, so it stands out. Anyway, they refused to let me in the country. I had to go pay in cash, not a credit card, $130 right there by the entrance where you go by where all the booths are at OR Tambo before you get to the luggage racks, the belts. All that immigration on the far left is a diplomatic line. I went through it, and he made me go back and wouldn't let me in the country until I paid $130, and I had the cash, emergency cash on me. I usually don't carry cash. I had $130 emergency cash on me, or more than that. I had to pay for that. Now, my Army reimbursed me for that, but I got an unnecessary yellow fever vaccination for one that was still valid for 6 years. Scam ripoff. For my pets, it cost me $5,800 to ship 2 cats to Botswana. I'm not a wealthy man. That's a hit. That was in 2008. That $5,800 today, if I had saved and invested, would be worth probably $100,000 or more. So they robbed me of my future and my retirement by forcing me to pay that. By contrast, when I took that cat, which I had gotten in Tunisian adopted, went to Germany on holiday. I took him across on the ferry with me and then drove. Oh my God, that cat was freaking out. I had his cage turned so he couldn't see the road. And he was like, "Arr, arr, arr," all the way through southern France. I wanted to get out and choke the thing to death. And finally, I realized maybe if I prop his cat box up so he can see the road. I did that in the back seat. I propped his cat box up. He could look out my Volvo. And suddenly he was chill. He could see the road. Lesson learned. It works with toddlers and infants too. Make sure they can see. Don't put them in a backwards facing seat because they'll freak out, right? So anyway, I took him to Germany. Flying him to America cost me exactly $0 to come into the United States. No fee whatsoever. Didn't cost me a penny. It cost me the air freight, which was $175. That's all I paid. By contrast, as Michael Neustadt said, take your pets to America from South Africa. Whoo, that's the South African's going to rape and pillage you. Now, when I left Botswana, I had to go back through South Africa. And this time, I drove my cats across the border down to Pretoria East, below, or actually where the road is, where Menlyn is. You go out further. There's a veterinary place out there. I took them out there, a boarding place. I left them there, and it cost me $2,800 to send my cats back to America. So my cats, and I'm not a big cat man, I just happen to adopt cats because I had a heart and a compassionate heart. $5,800 plus $2,800. That's $7,000. $8,600, almost $9,000 to take my cats to and from Botswana. So that was out of my pocket. When it comes to refugee program, I don't know if you'll be allowed to bring pets. People said they can, who've done it before. I don't know if you have to pay for them. I suspect it might be one thing you have to pay for. So keep that in mind, folks. Keep that in mind. Okay? Good point, Michael Neustadt. Thank you for that. The beard looks better than during COVID. Yeah, where have you been, G-Man? Yeah, the beard's been shrinking for a long time. In fact, it's time to trim it up again. And it's actually kind of, it's not clean today. I didn't brush it this morning. Yep. Even I have had to post comments on YouTube videos setting certain things straight, says the Veil. Okay. Chris, when does the refugee program start? Karen. Tonight on E. Ladies and gentlemen, go now live to the refugee program. I'm an Afrikaner. I'm not going to do Afrikaans accent. Import that. I'm an Afrikaner, and I'm never going to take Donald Trump on his racist offer to let people come to America because we love South Africa and we're staying here. Good for you. Who cares? That's your personal issue. Louis Render, Charmaine, to be fair, President Trump has been really busy draining the swamp. Yes, he is, man. Do you hear that sound? That's the big sucking sound as the Washington gets drained of the swamp creatures. You're the news now. My only source of news and news analysis. Please make this a standing rule. News first, comments and repeat questions later. Yeah. Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, lather, repeat. Some fool's still in the shower, right? Because, if you look at a bottle of shampoo, it says rinse, lather, repeat. Rinse, lather, repeat. So you rinse your hair, you lather up the soap, and then you rinse it. So they're still in the shower because the instructions doesn't say rinse, lather, repeat. Get out of the shower, dumbass. Not my joke. I got it from Bill Engvall. 99.99999% of all questions are in the frequently asked questions video. Correct, Nick. Your patience and tolerance in this process answering questions is admirable. Thank you on their behalf. You're very welcome. Oh, and YouTube is acting up again. I don't know why the tabs crash with YouTube anymore. I just don't get it. By the way, I did a couple videos last night. They're not doing particularly well. They're doing okay, but thank you for those who watched them. I'm grateful for that. All right, come on, YouTube. See, when this thing locks up, I get nervous that we've disconnected and we're not live streaming because YouTube is not playing nice. There we go. We're back. Boom Shakalaka. Where is Boom Shakalaka? I met that guy out of the blue. Boom Shakalaka used to watch this program all the time. He's a young guy, actually. I had no idea who he was. And I was in Cape Town at the Sevens tournament in August 2022. I walked out of the west side of the stadium, and as I walked out, guy came over, "Hey, Colonel Wyatt." Hey, how you doing? One of the first times I was recognized on the street there. And he goes, "Hey, it's me." I'm thinking, who's me? It's like 63 million people in South Africa. Who are you? It's Boom Shakalaka from your channel. Like, oh. And then he never showed up much after that. Hope he's okay. Gerd says, "Du bist populär." Yeah, I hope I'm popular. Can you imagine what the U.S. Embassy email looks like? Exactly, Arctic. Exactly. Chris, I saw today people are complaining that South African Home Affairs shut down the website. They can't check on which because it's swamped. Nobody wants to leave, ladies and gentlemen. Maddie, no, nobody wants to leave South Africa. There's no interest amongst Afrikaners for leaving South Africa. No, this is not true. We've went high and low. We've went to Agri-SA, the captured organization. We talked to Nick Serfontaine, who was on Cyril Ramaphosa's Land Reform Commission. Yeah, he's an objective commenter. We have talked to all these people, and they're rubbishing claims that anyone wants to leave South Africa. No, it's not true. Meanwhile, at Home Affairs, the server has crashed. Okay. All right. Let's do a poll, okay? All right. So start a poll. When did you come across my channel? Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay. God bless it. The N key is hitting twice here. I'm getting a lot of typos here. I'm going to do a poll here, folks. Give you a chance to answer this poll. Boy, the chat just keeps coming. I'm seeing it coming in really fast here. You. Okay, there. God bless. That's it. Man, there we go. Okay. At option. Okay, when did you first come across my channel? Be honest, folks. This is if you're not an original gangster, it's fine. People didn't see it. Things were hidden. PD, I'm thinking about giving my old address to the government so they can expropriate my house. It was expropriated during the divorce. Well, that is a form of expropriation, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. There's Erica. Welcome, Erica. Neville, thoughts and prayers. What's going on with Neville? What's going on with Neville? Mom is doing better. Okay, she's doing better. Good. I see an asylum seeker in Austria stab 4 people. No, a man stabbed men. Stab men. That 14-year-old's not a boy. He's a man, according to the Washington Times press release, which they got from a news service. You see how they hide this stuff? Yep. A lot of people have the attention span of a tic-tac. 18 minutes, that's my whole day gone. You're right about that, Leon. Derek Dupree. And Ernst Cuthbert, thanks for your patience and all the repeated questions. It is frustrating. Those who want to move pets should check Petport. Charmaine, that's good advice to find out, generally speaking, but that's for people traveling the United States, so you get a feel for it. If, in fact, the program says you have to pay for your pets, then you'll be prepared. But if we pay for it, then you won't have to worry about that. So we'll have to wait and see. But good advice, Charmaine. Thank you for that. It's been a long time since I looked at that stuff. Tim Martins, good evening to you. Tractor Champ, welcome. Crypto Noob is back. Nick Groves, hey, Nick. Dwayne Furry, enjoyed listening to your honesty. You're very welcome, Dwayne. Yeah. But remember, he works for the CIA. We have the proof! The so-called colonel works for the CIA. What a boob, man. What an absolute boob. I could use the money, man. Bring it on. I would love that 6-figure salary as a senior executive service working for the Central Intelligence Agency. Absolutely. Yeah. I must be one of those people working remotely from home. Dear CIA. I should play the frequently asked at the end of the stream. No. I want people to go watch it. Reg, thank God, no livestock. X would insist on. Gee, Reg, I wonder why you have an X. Random question. Does anyone know how much registered proper farms? Yeah. The most recent data is from 2017. I can tell you exactly. There were 181,000 registered farm properties in South Africa in 2017. 95,000 plus of them were owned by white South Africans. And that's 53% of farms in South Africa. That's not 53% of farmland. That's 53% of farms. Indians were wildly overrepresented with just 1% of the population. Roughly, they had about 9% of the farms. And then black South Africans were 20-some, and coloreds had about 50. Anyway, so yeah, that's the most recent data. Anyone that says everything else is a liar, they're just doing an estimate. They have no genuine data. The government has not done a land audit survey since 2017. Why? So they can perpetuate this myth. The reality is that a lot of people who are white have either been chased off the farms, have been murdered, have died, and moved on, or sold their farms out of fear, or just left the business altogether. The number of white commercial farmers was 72,000 in 1994. Today, it's somewhere around 26 to 28,000. Okay, Charles Venter, ICE is cleaning up before we can come. Exactly, lots of room for you. We're cleaning out the illegal aliens. Will the restaurant serve us that refuse to allow JD Vance service? I would hope they would serve you. Okay, Hammond von Westhuizen, the that never sleeps. Erica, you can take your pet. What the hell is going on with Arctic? Vance is a slight step up from your previous. A slight step? Bones, I saw an interview with Neil DeBeer, death threats made to him and his family. Not surprised. See, this is what cowards do. I mean, okay, here's the bottom line. What do people care? I don't know why they're having death threats against Neil, or because he's telling the truth. But why in the world would you care about people leaving? What's the big deal? Just let them go, right? Hang on a second here. I'm just checking on something. Oh my God, it is true. What? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I want to share this very quickly here, folks. So last night I had a difficult moment there. And I was up for a couple hours later last night. A little bit later last night because of this event. I was sent information last night. And I was a little bit concerned. So I want to share this with you now. And I'm going to do this. Let me pull it up. I was holding off on this because I don't like to spread fake news. And this is sad news that this happened. But it's not the news that was initially shared with me. Last night I received a voicemail in Afrikaans telling me that someone that I know, a colleague, had passed away in an armed robbery in South Africa, been shot. And it's a name that many of you will recognize. And so rather than panic and rather than spread fake news, I contact the person back. I reached out to some people who have contacts in SAPS and security in South Africa to get clarification. Eventually, I got the police report back. But the reason I'm mentioning to you, though, and so please do not run off and misrepresent this, and our thoughts and prayers to the fallen police officer, whose name happens to be the same as none other than the leader of the Sightlanders Civil Defense Group. And so this gentleman was shot and killed in Springs in Gauteng province last night, or early this morning, I should say. His name is Captain Wyatt du Toit. This is not the Wyatt du Toit who served in the South African Defense Force. He was murdered today in an armed robbery at a shop. Captain Wyatt du Toit. Thoughts and prayers to you, Captain, and to your family, your loved ones on your passing at the hands of violent criminals. 4 black thieves who came into this shop, and apparently he got his firearm off and must have wounded or killed one of them. They drugged the person off in their car. Captain Wyatt du Toit, fair winds and smooth sailing. Rest in peace. You can imagine when I got that, when that message came to me in Afrikaans, and of course my Afrikaans isn't perfect. Now the good news is the person who provided it to me did also send me a summary in English, which I listened to afterwards. But when I heard that in Afrikaans, I'm like, what? Wyatt du Toit. Now, I've not heard back from the Wyatt du Toit that we know. He has read my messages, but I've got confirmation. People know him, say that he's fine. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know that. Yeah. So I don't like fake news. I like to run down my sources and confirm them as best as possible. And that's why I did not discuss that until that photograph just came across for me of the gentleman who died in that. So yeah, anyway, so there you go. Grateful for your, what was this? Grateful what? People love their pets, but I'd rather take a few more people in the space and the funds. Well, it does. Christian Peters say it doesn't matter. You're not going to take a boat across. You're going to fly in a commercial plane. Pets go in cargo. People don't go in cargo, so it doesn't matter if you bring pets if you're allowed to. The World Wrestling, something is more realistic than our local news. Chris Ehlers, you are very apologetic in your vid this morning. I don't think you need to be. It's a unique situation. Well, Chris, thank you. I didn't know that was very apologetic, but thank you for that. About 2 weeks ago, been following your brilliant work. Much appreciated. How's the subscribers growing? Yeah, it's growing. We should go faster there. Check out Operation Gothic Serpent. Okay. You're the king of beverage. Every different stream. Well, Fouché, normally I drink the Starbucks, but I'm getting a little pudgy here, and I'm not accustomed to putting on weight. It hasn't been able to exercise, and so too many of the Starbucks and no exercise add up to pounds, and so I'm trying to switch around. Steve Young, welcome back. Came across you in February this year. Regards, Steve from Constantia. I love Constantia. I stayed there last time. In fact, Paulie linked up with me, came by when I got into Constantia that night. We went out and got dinner. It was very thin night, not many people out, beautiful. Why does it matter what race the owner is? These race-obsessed leftists are making me mad. Exactly, Awkward Leon. It doesn't matter. These are racists. They like to divide people. That's what it's about, folks. If your main concern is your pets, then you have no idea how close you are to anarchy, says Alexander. Just a human being. I can also tell you that as a colored from Gauteng, we are discriminated. It's mostly the blacks. Yeah, I know. Just a human being. I like your username. And if you watch this program, you'll see that I have a great affinity for folks. You have a cultural heritage that's African and European. You're a group of people that have suffered immensely from blacks and from whites, and you persevered. And you've had your own groups. You're the OG when it comes to trekking. The original 4 trekkers were the coloreds and the Khoisan who moved away from the Cape. Yep. Steven says, I need to have some of that smoked barbecue fall off the bone meat. Oh, there you go. Before you came to Vaynant's visit show, I think it was 2022. Thank you, Elizabeth. Christian Kutsia, welcome to you. 15 million illegal migrants. I'd help catch them. Oh, it's more like 30 million, Briscoe. IR, Institute of Racial Relations channel, has the most currently correct land data. Okay. I haven't looked at that. Thank you for that. I'll check it out. I write for the Institute for Racial Relations Daily Friend. How much farmland does the NC own to date? Well, the government's the largest landowner in South Africa, and they've purchased 3.9 million hectares since the farm program started. Russell Copeland, welcome to you. Neil said what? We don't have a POS, a point of sale. Okay. Error Musk and Rob Hersoff articulate what's happening here perfectly. Neil can't be called racist by his own words. He was an ANCM key member. He also speaks painful truth. Might be stuck in a hostage situation. Yeah, it's a Stockholm Syndrome situation. Mother Goose, pensioners referring to all sorts. Those who have assets and pensions spring over, and those who don't, just asking that you cover them as well as facts become clear. Oh, no worries, Mother Goose. But the problem is that we have covered that. You missed it. A couple people went verified. I didn't verify yet, but I knew there were restraints on how much capital you could take out of South Africa because the South African government's terrified people of flight. These laws have been in place for some time, and they've been amended over time to make it more restrictive. You can only take out each adult like R1 million per year, which is nothing. R1 million is just over $100,000. That's going to last you diddly squat if you have that kind of money. So I don't know. And pensions, whether you still get paid your pension, in theory you should. I mean, if I go live in South Africa, I'll still get my military pension. And I still have to pay taxes in America on it. So it doesn't affect that. If I live in Mexico, I still get my Social Security check. Even if I was American or Mexican, doesn't matter. Still get it. It just goes to a U.S. bank, and I have to get it from there, transferred to where I want. That's up to me. But South Africa, I strongly suspect the reason for expropriation without compensation is they want to steal your pension funds. You see, folks, if you have expropriation with compensation, if you expropriate my torch, you have to pay me the $40 that this torch cost, or the fair market value for it. Now it's not $40. Maybe now it's only worth $27. So you have to pay me for my torch. If, however, you go into my pension fund, which has $10 in my pension fund, how are you going to compensate me for $10? You have to give me $10. So it's a wash. Why'd you take it? Because you have to give me the same thing. Just and equitable. If, however, you have expropriation without compensation, you can raid my pension fund and take my $10 and give me nothing. It's in the public interest. We had to do it. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, there's no money. We had to do it. That is why expropriation without compensation is the law of the land in South Africa. And all these people who are apologists for the communist regime can tell you otherwise, but that's simply not the case. Simply not the case. All I need to take is my children. There you go. Kevin Williams, sorry about a working post office. Came across a great channel watching business. Oh, I'm glad you found me too, Donnie. I hope the program won't be picking off our Connors. Yeah, just a human being. I agree with you. I agree with you. Again, but we've had this conversation with a lot of people want to quibble with me about what an Afrikaner is, and they want to show their superior knowledge. Great, feel free. Tell me what an Afrikaner is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I call an Afrikaner. It really doesn't matter because I'm not the one writing the rules for the program. That would be the State Department, and they will decide. And again, the embassy changed it to ethnic minorities, which is where I said it's probably headed. So, cool beans. All right. Yeah, a lot of colored folks are suffering badly. So, no, it's not Colonel Dutoy, Maddie. It's Captain Dutoy, a police officer in SAPS. I received a message telling me it was Vaynant. Yep, from the police. That was, you can imagine, that was my heart in my chest moment last night. All sorts of thoughts run through your head. A robbery, a setup, an assassination. Is it Vaynant? It's pretty crazy stuff, folks. But Vaynant Dutoy will be on the program Monday, and we'll have him on here. Now, the location got my attention first. I mean, what would he be doing in spring in Gauteng? But he gets around the country quite a bit. So anyway, yeah. Let's buy the Adidas. You can have those Adidas. Ugh, gross. Do you think the main objective for the AI arms race between the U.S. and China is to become the first to precious minerals from space? No, I don't think that's what it's about at all. Complete my passport application to the whole family just in case. Well, good, Collider VN. You should always have passports. Briscoe. Yep. Chris Marie, Ben. Yep. Everybody's giving their condolences to Captain Dutoy's family. Just after 7 a.m., they robbed a liquor store close to my work. This was at 7:30 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. Oh, that's to the captain, not to me. Yep. Yeah. Condolences to the family. strict rules for pension funds, irrespective of refugee status. Exactly. Thank you, Artie. In something in South Africa, Trump is going to join the list with Jan van Riebeck and for blaming for ruining South Africa. Remember, it's always someone else's fault. True, but I don't think Trump cares. Do not put in Bitcoin. Crypto can crash. Well, that's why I try to warn people, but they do what they want. Harris is correct when he says you cannot be logical with the ANC. They don't care. They're lining their pockets. Well, that's what I said, man, and I've been saying for years, since before Rob started doing his videos. Only a handful of people were here. Afrikaner is an ox, highly adaptable to any area, any fact. Chris, I've seen on YouTube so many abandoned American towns. Where are these abandoned American towns? I got people trolling me, sending me messages all the time about, they can occupy abandoned towns. What abandoned towns? I don't know any abandoned towns. The only abandoned town I know is in Pennsylvania. That's because there's a coal fire underneath it, and it was forced. The government removed people by force. And there's a couple of towns in the Southwest were old mining towns, but where are these abandoned towns you speak of? You can all wire money to many U.S. accounts. That's true. Yeah, you can do that. There are lots of ways to do it. There are online services like XE, and there are also, MoneyGram and Money Western Union, which are thieves, but you can only do certain amounts there. They take a high percentage of the money. I don't think the people at the embassy yesterday singing "Destem" did it cause any good. I didn't hear people singing "Destem." That did. You're right, low IQ. If they did that, that didn't do anybody any good. Steve Young just retired from the police as commander of the police detective unit. Well, there you go, Steve. Then you know all about evidence like I do. Thank you for the super chat. Who was that? Arctic. Strip or read my super chats. Calm down, man. Million Rand is only. That's your what are the other super chats here? Okay, I'm going to go look at your super chats because that's the first one. I rang the one earlier. Okay, Arctic is funny. Super chats. Oh, you got 3 of them. Okay, so Arctic says, I need the chat during the news or I'm just going to watch the naked news. Just give the mods carte blanche to delete duplicate questions. Are you going to read my subscriptions so I can get a strip show? well, 100 Rand, 100 Rand, and 40 Rand. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't intentional, but it worked. I got 200 Rand out of the guy. They're not abandoned, but dying. Oh, we have a lot of dying towns, of course. Towns get built for a reason, and then the reason disappears. Layla says, you go, Chris. Some 50-year-old black American boxer tried to intimidate because I expressed interest in going. He said, U.S. is tougher, more dangerous than RSA, yet the number of rates. Con, I don't know who you met. That person's an idiot. There are 21,000 plus murders in South Africa every year. There are 14,000 in America. These people are clowns. They don't know what they're talking about. We are 6 times your size. Per capita number of murders is just infinitesimal compared to South Africa. If it's only for whites, I hope Aussie will be willing to resettle colors. No, they're not interested. Australia's not interested. And it's not only for whites. It doesn't say that anywhere. So just now, this is not directed to you, just a human being, but I dare someone to show me where in this order it says whites. There is nowhere in this executive order that says whites. Not a single spot. And anybody that made such a claim is a liar. There are no states best for schoolboy rugby. Henny, Annalie, Nell, we don't really have that. It's something that's developing now. We've always had club rugby and university rugby. We have professional rugby now, but the club rugby system like you have in South Africa, the Danny Craven week, that we don't have anything like that. We're developing that. It's coming now. We have it now, but it doesn't have the history and the establishment. So there are no best states for that. Maybe California, but who wants to live in California? Don't shoot the messenger. I heard someone say the NHI is halted for now. No, they've agreed to adjust it. So Afrikaans and Afrikaners are the orphans of European imperial expansion, adopted, redefined, and reborn as African. Bitcoin wallet's a good way to take value out versus leaving behind. Okay. Okay, I already read that. Excuse me. God bless it. Some towns are half empty. I was watching a channel on YouTube, Dying Kansas Town, where houses cost less than a pickup truck. Yeah, well, there's a reason they're dying. If you haven't already, Chris, please run a poll to see how many people here would want to apply. Oh, my goodness, Cappy. I've done that. Cappy, I'm seeing your avatar. Are you colored? Sorry, I don't mean to ask. You don't have to answer that question, but your avatar caught my attention. I've done that poll many, many times. Many, many times. Yeah, Cape Independence getting a lot more airtime for people who want to stay in their home country. Yep. Okay, where's she at? Cyber eggs, I missed that. My husband once shot a Hadia with his pellet gun. It landed on the street at the feet of the old black lady, and she was so grateful for God for his blessing. Frogs are jumping out of the pot. That's a good sign. Okay. Maddie, did you see the letter from Congressman Jackson setting the record straight? No. Who's Congressman Jay Jackson? Representative Jonathan Jackson denounces extreme MAGA Republican agenda contained in the Lake and Riley Act. Illinois, Jonathan Jackson. Don't know him. Don't care. Sounds like a race hustler. Yeah, Australia's a fascist country. Dude, I got a $500 tip for landing in cock weather last night. Now shake that boot. Oh, okay. Well, then let's go with the super chats. Bring it on. Come on, Arctic. Prove you got $500 last night. Give me a 1,000 Rand super chat. Yes, Gerhardt, mainstream media is pushing that it's whites only because they're racist liars. They have an agenda. Again, I dare anyone. See, that's the problem. But you notice how they aren't coming here. With the Rapid Growth Mind show, you don't see any of them coming here going, well, Wyatt's misleading you. Wyatt's lying. Wyatt's just pushing an agenda. Because I'm not pushing an agenda. I'm not lying. I read the freaking order. It's clear. There's no interpretation here. The word white does not appear in the document anywhere. Yep. There's copy. I found you back. Please run a poll. I've run the poll, a copy. If I have time, I'll do it again today. But thank you, Arctic. Oh, Arctic he must have drank that $500 tip because he's down to 9. He went from 199 to 199 to 40 to 10. You cheap bastard. Oh my goodness. Cappy, I've done the poll and it runs, I did it every night from the start, from the outset. And thus far on my channel, remember, this is not a representative sample of South Africans. It's not a representative sample of white or colored or black South Africans. It's a representative sample who people looking for real news, that's for sure. Already gave another, now he's going to flood me with 10 Rand super chats to make the bell ring. I'm going to ring the bell just for him. So copy, it's running about 67 to 69% of people who come here saying that they are going to immigrate to America if given the chance. But again, I can't hold that up against South Africa, even against the Afrikaans or the Boer communities or the colored community. What do you think of Indiana? It's boring, peaceful. Stay away from Gary, Indiana. That's basically Chicago South. But the rest of it's just boring, quiet. It's clean, safe, yep, but boring. Farmers might like it. They might like it. Okay, and Russian drone. What's that? Trump has to push Aussie, UK, resettle South Miners. Why would we do that, just a human being? We want all those white people for ourselves. Don't you know this is a white supremacy country, according to the media? Okay, did you see? Okay, that was a letter, okay. Which states are best for schoolboy rugby? Answered that question as best I could. Yeah, I don't know any abandoned towns in the Netherlands. That's just Nick Rose, the 35 Rand. Thank you for the super chat. I got like 19 super chats. We only got $18 here. If you haven't already, Chris, please run up. Okay, there's Copy again. Found you again, Copy. Thank you for your input there, Copy. Thank you for your subscription. Are you aware the South African government wants to change the street name? Yes, AFG. Thank you for that. I've mentioned that repeatedly over the past several broadcasts. I did that in my video, which talks about the reasons why this is happening. It's not Afrikaners. It's not that. That's a misnomer. And it's in my video, South Africa's ANC intentionally undermines U.S. national interest. I think I put it in that video. View on YouTube. So let me show you this one here. I don't want this advert to play. Liberty Mutual. Liberty Bibbity. Don't need that. These stupid ads are getting annoying. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. South African politicians are going bat crap crazy, blaming America for intruding in South Africa's internal affairs, interfering in South Africa, dictating, being imperialistic, telling South Africa what to do. Don't know what dimension these people are living in, but the United States isn't doing anything of the sort. Donald Trump is disengaging from South Africa because of a number of egregious. It was in this video, which I published just a couple of days ago, or 1 day ago, actually. South Africa's ANC intentionally undermines U.S. national interest, and I believe in that video I included the comment about Sandton Drive. I was in South Africa when this nonsense was passed last year, I think it was, and I covered the story from South Africa. They want to rename Sandton Drive to Leila Khaled, a terrorist who kidnapped or hijacked a TWA flight And this criminal is being hailed by the ANC. Thank you, Lawrence McDonald, for your membership. Yeah, so I know that. And it's not because they want to honor the terrorist. It's because they want to stick a finger in the eye of the Americans. This is the racial hatred from these scumbags in the ANC. Okay, I'm not going to do all these. Sorry, I usually salute, but I'm sorry, guys. It's just too many. So what happened was in the council meeting when they voted this in with the help of the EFF to rename Santon Drive to Leila Khaled Drive, the ANC caucus leader got up and said, "Aha! Now the American embassy will be forced to have the address of number 1 Leila Khaled Drive." Yeah, Leila Khaled Drive. It was intentional slight to insult America because a terrorist who hijacked an American Airlines plane, TWA. Yeah, I'm aware of it, AFG, and I've talked about it endlessly. So, when people say that this is about Afrikaners, it's not. It's about the government helping Iran achieve nuclear weapon status. It's about the government having military ties to Iran, to Russia, to China. It's about the government poking America in the eye. And why the media don't want to cover this is because they're complicit. They're all part of it. They're all part of it. I mean, even if you're not part of it, why would you not even cover the full text? This is the first paragraph. Why is this not being mentioned? And you know what's being mentioned? The Israel part. That's it. And that only came after several days and after I reported on it. News 24 is watching my program. The IL is watching my program. And it hurts their feelings. I call them the toilet paper record. But they deserve it. In shocking disregard of its citizens' rights, the Republic of South Africa recently enacted expropriation to enable the government of South Africa to seize ethnic minority Afrikaners' agricultural property without compensation. This act follows countless government policies designed to dismantle equal opportunity in employment, education, and business, and hateful rhetoric and government actions fueling disproportionate violence against racially disfavored landowners. In addition, South Africa has taken aggressive positions towards the United States and its allies, including accusing Israel, but not Hamas, of genocide in the International Court of Justice and reinvigorating its relations with Iran to develop commercial, military, and nuclear arrangements. I see that a lot of the glitterati on YouTube content creators are now also repeating the statements that I've made for ages. Now, the one thing I will tell you, I don't take credit for things that come to me. I give credit where it's due. A lot of people don't do that. They hear the analysis here and then they go try to copy it. When I read off the list of grievances where the ANC talks about what expropriation without compensation is, they claim it's not zero compensation. Ernst van Zyl from Conscious Caracal from AfriForum put together a document in which he ran through a list of many of these things. 2018, Ramaphosa announced we were going to explicitly allow for land without expropriation without compensation. 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, Paul Mashatile, Cyril Ramaphosa. The list goes on and on and on. That came from, that compilation was put together by Ernst van Zyl. The towns that we can go farm on or live because culture gets respected. No idea what you're talking about. Cohen says colored people are Afrikaans too. Well, the question is not Afrikaans, but Afrikaner, and I wouldn't disagree with you, but some people would. Chris, I can tell you what? What can you tell me, host human being? The coloreds are trapped. I know. I appreciate it. Do you think I don't know? Do you think I don't know? Do you think I haven't stood up for coloreds? Hendo, have I stood up for coloreds? Have I not defended coloreds? Endlessly on this program. Have I not promoted color groups? Please. I'm well aware of the situation, and I've been telling people about it, but now people are starting to listen. It's good news. Blame the fat finger, says Nick. 25,000 cash is the limit. Not sure what number you're talking about. Yeah, you can take it, but you got to go through the South African Reserve Board to get it out. On those polls, 85% they leave. Not on my polls, copy, or Neville, it's 67%. In fact, we largely speak Afrikaans makes us even more vulnerable. I'm aware of that, Just a Human. What happened about the Afrikaner Accord for Self-Determination was signed by the ANC? Well, they just ignore it, Janine. They just ignore it. I don't think it's practical, but they ignore it. Copy says a tanned whitey. We need to have a coffee, Copy. I'm guessing Copy, maybe you're from the Western Cape. We'll have one. Sandra Heineckman, South Africans morbidly obsessed with degrading the U.S. as not being a paradise. It never claimed to be perfect. Yep, exactly, Sandra, correct. Arctic's $10 super chat. Cohen, Pablo Charlie, Crystal Stamen is back. Strippers work for $1 bills. I don't strip. I used to be fitter. I don't do that. I don't care. The first sale of land happened to Dingani. They paid for livestock transact court. Both parties 2 hours later, they're murdered on their farmland. That's not an exactly accurate portrayal of what happened, but okay, I get where you're going. No dancing. Correct. Have a good day, Wade. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. El Marie Mayer, welcome to you. Meerkat. Please, guys, colors are also affected by the dumb BE. Yes, I know. Well, blacks are also affected by stupid BE rules. Just minorities, not only whites. Yep. However, demographics show white and colored minority BE lists the agenda. Okay. Yeah, that's right. There are extreme anti-Israeli Palestinian sympathizers among the colored community. That is correct. In part because many of the colored minority are Muslims. It's not about race. It's about your freedom, integrity, and dignity being under threat. Correct, Alan. That's what I've been saying all along. The guys share the chat, minimize the window, copy the link, and share. Okay, there you go. Thank you. I've been watching your channel since 2020. I don't remember exactly, but I've only been watching occasionally and in part. Well, okay, FG. Thank you for being here. Kalahari Creative. I'm a bit late to the party. Keep it up. You're welcome. And Garrett. Okay, Arctic. Hendo's not colored. He doesn't swear nearly enough. Yeah. Hendo's color card is in question. His cops is weak. Kali Moritz, what good book have you behind you would be good for reading? Lots of them. Let me find one. I'll get one you can actually get. This is a later edition. I have the original one that came out a couple decades ago. The War for Africa by Fred Bridgeland. 12 months it transformed a continent. This is about the war in Angola. This is an incredible book. Fred Bridgeland wrote this book. Incredible. This is the newer version. I bought it because I like the cover and I have a newer version with clean white paper as opposed to mine, which is yellowed over the decades. Yeah, my original version was decades old. So there you go. Man, what's with all the people becoming members here? The War for Africa, Fred Bridgeland. It's available in South Africa from Exclusive Books. Now, where's my money, Exclusive Books? Good Lord, what is going with all these memberships popping up here? Okay, Chris is non-racial. I'm very much non-racial, thank you. Pink Afrikaners and tan Afrikaners, who cares? Exactly. In a new twist, colors want everyone not born before 94 in the Western Cape to sell their stuff and leave the Western Cape and want to declare independence. What? AfriForum, Freedom for Plus, and Solidarity don't even represent 1 million people, let alone all the Afrikaners. Whatever they say is in their own self-interest. Who said they did represent everybody? They never claimed that. None of them claim that. Okay. What is this? I love how blunt and truthful you are. Well, Gladys, I am. AfriForum needs to endorse Cape Independence, says Pablo Charlie, comfortably in the Netherlands. Jolanda van Rensburg says, issue stern warning president, stay out of South Africa's affairs. Well, we are. Fikile Mabulula is an idiot. We're staying out of South Africa's affairs. By withdrawing money we're giving you for free, we're no longer trying to influence what you do domestically. By offering refugee status to people from countries, that's our business, not yours. Fikile Mabulula. Colors are also suppressed. Yep. Crystal, if USA starts you with a combination, how will this typically look like, or do they give you money to find a combination? Crystal, I can't tell you how it's going to be because every program is different, but the way it typically works under resettlement is we resettle you. We bring you over here, we put you in a place, we give you a stipend, put you out there, help you get, how many memberships are being given out there? Help you get started, you get a stipend, and help you, find employment, and then it's on you. But you get that support usually for a year. I can't answer beyond that, Crystal, and asking someone to answer that is impossible. And if they tell you they can, they're liars. Stinky the Squid, because I'm on my 5th whiskey. On your first super chat, thank you. Nick gave 10 memberships that just zipped by there very quickly. Yolanda Trump reportedly shaking his pants. That costs more than Fikile's house. What? Letitia says, thanks again, Chris, for your channel. We appreciate your program, Independent Opinion. Hope Mr. Trump continues to give our countries opportunity. Shawnee's back. Gift train. Yeah, it's coming hard, isn't it? That train is rolling down the track. A whole other language they developed Afrikaans. It was called Komboi style. That's kitchen tongue, for it was recognized official language. Yep. Gideon Joubert, new member gifted 50. Oh, that's why they're coming in. Gideon Joubert. Wow, Gideon, welcome. Vale, Blade Wolf, Erica, since we must be politically correct, Rainbow Nation is wrong. Natasha, the Broad-Based Black Empowerment Act applies Black South Africans who are defined as Africans, colors, and Indians. Yes, but the implementation of it isn't quite in that fashion, Natasha. Horace Crazy, what a cool name. Am I at the end of that? I'm at the end of the chat. Wow. All right, let me end the poll, okay? What the hell is it? Now I can't get to the poll. Why is my poll not ending? Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay, that window's frozen. That's why. Hang on. YouTube, again, that window's frozen. God bless it. I want to end that poll and see what people discover. So, my goodness, there's a lot of memberships there. All right, so 48% just found me. There you go. End the poll. All right. Okay. 48% just found me. And only 14% have been here since 2020. 10%. So only a quarter of the people that are here in the chat right now have been with us since 2022. That's 3 years ago. Yeah, there you go. Is somebody getting attacked in the chat? I would recommend, if we could choose, where would you go? What would you recommend? Again, Travis, it depends who you are, what you want. People like Durban, you can have it. You like Durban, go to Florida, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. Have fun. Humidity, bugs, no thanks. Heat. You like the high felt, then go to New Mexico, go to Arizona, go to Utah, go to Nevada. If you like Mediterranean climate, go to Southern California. If you like mountains, go to Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, Vermont, New Hampshire. Depends what you want. But if you don't like snow and cold, then don't go above Arkansas. And even then, you still get cold in other places. Okay, good book. Yeah, that's a good book. Yeah, he's running a bare bones, that zombie. I turned him off for a minute. He's back now. Lionel Schulbush, evening. We have been waiting for F4 green card since 2011. Why don't the U.S. expedite? We have family in the U.S. Mother 76. Lionel, do you honestly expect me to be able to answer your question? I have no idea what you're talking about. 2011? If you have applied for something since 2011, then your application isn't real. There's no way it's sitting somewhere in somebody's desk since 2011. And whom did you apply for? I don't know what you want me to answer, Lionel. How could I possibly answer that question? I don't work at the American Embassy or in consular services, and I don't know your case. But I'll tell you that 2011, it's Obama, Trump, Biden, and Trump again. That's 4 administrations. In that time, we've had at least 5 ambassadors in South Africa and a complete turnover of staff at least 6 or 7 times. That doesn't, I don't know what to tell you, man. Your mother lives in the U.S., but you're in South Africa and you're trying to get a permanent residency? I don't know the answer, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. How can I possibly answer that? Found you last year in Gareth Cliff, says Congo Chris. Cool beans. Okay. Yeah, 10% joined the future back in 2022. In America, we may be referred to as African American, if you want. Bobby Mugabe also insulted the West specifically, and now we have this. The fact they cannot see how bad this is. Yeah, it is astonishing. They just keep pushing the button. And Trump is going to up the rhetoric at some point. Trump is just going to take him out of a go, and then the gloves come off. But I mean, look, the patience of Trump has been unbelievable. We're being abused, attacked, insulted, lies being told about America daily by these idiots in South Africa, and they just don't see the reality. And then the condescending insult, they're going to send a delegation here to tell us that we don't understand. Can you imagine that? Let me flip the script around, okay? All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, today, Donald Trump has sent a delegation from the Republican Party, bipartisan folks from industry, business interest, from academia, think tanks, to South Africa to explain the United States' position on the refugee program. You see, the government of South Africa simply misunderstands what President Trump said. Therefore, we're sending this team over to set them straight. Can you imagine? Oh, the colonizers. Oh, the racists. Oh, saying the black man doesn't understand. Evil Trump. Can you imagine the arrogance? You're going to send a team. We didn't ask for your team. You have an embassy in Washington with an asshat who hates America. Send Ibrahim Rasool to the State Department to explain your position. Don't send a team over here of John Steenhuisen, Dr. Groenewald, and Gate McKenzie. I don't even know if that's true. That's a rumor that's been spread around. Don't send your team over here. And don't send your team around to the world, to your friends, to convince them to pressure us. All you're going to do is piss Trump off. You think you've suffered punitive action now? The hammer is coming, baby. No AGOA. Sanctions. Oh, yeah. And then you get barred from the SWIFT program. Then South Africa's economy will collapse overnight. Yep. Ohio's wonderful, Yuri. It's beautiful. It's got mountains in the southeast. It's flat across most of the state. You've got Lake Erie in the north. So you got the lake. You've got wonderful people. It's settled largely by German Americans, and other folks came later on, but mostly Germans initially. And it's wonderful. Great farming there. Great industry there. High tech. It's an amazing place. We have one active duty military base, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Used to have Rickenbacker Air Force Base in Columbus. That became an Air National Guard base when I was in high school back in the late 70s, early 80s, and then just pretty much shut down, and it's an industrial site now. So come here. You come here, make it, you're an American to me, okay? It's real, Chris. The F4 category is delayed by years. Okay, well, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying that there's no reason for something to sit for 14 years. There's something wrong with the application. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know how to answer the gentleman's question. How would I know about that? I don't work in that area. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer. Okay. Okay. I don't even qualify as colored in Melbourne because Aussies will frown their eyebrows and don't know how they would identify themselves U.S. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lionel. I don't have an answer for you on that. I couldn't possibly answer that. There's no way for me to get an answer, unfortunately. Message from Tammy Bryce says, persecute South African farmers and other innocent victims. Yeah, Tammy Bryce is the mouthpiece for the State Department. She is a Karine Jean-Pierre, except she's not an idiot. So that doesn't mean anything. That's just a press statement that she's put out there. So I wouldn't hang my hat on that. I would wait until the policy is released, but that'll probably be what it is. She's on the inside, so she probably knows what they're working on. And then she's been allowed to release that. So it may be valuable, but you can't take that to the bank. Truly wish, because they could change. The government could change their mind and define a different way. All South Africans should stay their native country, but not possible. Okay. Okay. Found your channel, I think, during the COVID thing. Yeah, Robert, you've been around for a while, too. Sorry, I remember what Cohen said there. Ohio is great as a state. Okay, that's where I was at. Okay, Neville's going to check on his mom. USCIS visa notice hold. I will check. Okay, there's 7.4 million first language Afrikaans speaker in South Africa, guys. Actually, that number is way under the mark. You're wrong about that. You're wrong about that. It's more. There are 2.8 million first language speakers who are white. There are 6 million at least who are colored. That's 8.8 million. Then there are 180,000 Indians. That's 9 million. And then there are about 800,000 black South Africans. So it's over 10 million. Everybody likes stream. Yeah, please hit the like button, folks. I think the ANC and GNU are in for a big surprise. They're brick mates. Yeah, they are. You see the bricks coming forward? Nope. Saw a video this afternoon. I think it was Jacques that made the video about guys working USA and talking about the refugee status. He's not Afrikaans. He also follows Chris. I don't know what that is. A lot of people were contacting me. So I got the embassy say he has had zero inquiries. Yeah, who said that at the embassy? An embassy official? Well, the problem is that Willem Petzer said there have been 17,000 applications. He misspoke. He was caught in the moment, and that's not true. We don't know how many applications there are because none of us work in the IT system online for the State Department for a program that's frozen. In my view, there have been zero applications. You know why I say there's zero applications? Because the program doesn't exist. The president froze the refugee resettlement program on January 20th, and it has not restarted. He's told the State Department to get this one going for South Africans, but it hasn't happened. So there can't be any applications for a non-existent program. Simple as that. The interest has been expressed by people to the South African Chamber of Commerce, Neil Diamond. I've got to get that guy on. If somebody's got a contact for Neil Diamond, let me know. Okay? I'm going to have to talk to him. Somebody doesn't speak for all of us. Who is that copy? Who are you talking about? 50 to 60% of first language Afrikaans speakers are colors. And how do they define Afrikaners? It's more than 50, 60%. It's not patience. It's a clear display of South Africa's importance to the Trump administration, lower than snake crap. Exactly. Mother Goose, am I allowed to give advice to those who want to go to the U.S., integrate, don't form Afrikaans churches and stick together? Not saying Mother Goose, you can offer any advice you want. You can say it in my chat all you want. We do believe in free speech. As long as people aren't being racist, bigots, or trolls, you're welcome, or trying to pollute the chat, you're welcome to share it. If you've got advice, and by the same token, if you offer some advice and people don't like it, they better not abuse you. Okay? Neil DeBeer said Trump doesn't care about Afrikaners. It's all about Iran. It's not all about Iran. It's about all the egregious things. Folks, I'm going to do this again. I had it up last night. I closed it. Let's see if I can find it again now. Where's it at? Shoot. I had this thing. I had a hard time finding it yesterday. I finally found it. I showed the law. The problem is I can't do a screen capture and do a good job of this. I wanted to do it and show you. It's a... No, it's not here. It's a hard... I've got so many documents I download every day to make videos for my sources. I'm trying to find... It's a PDF. Expropriation Act. It's not that one. Anyway, I found it yesterday, so it's not here. But yeah, there was a bipartisan bill that went in last year, February 6th of 2024, that there's a whole list of things. It's not just about Iran, or about Israel or Iran. It's about a whole lot of stuff. What did Neil say? He said it's about Iran? That's what I've been saying from the very beginning. Detention insults Harold. Yes. How do you think refugees will be vetted? Surely Homeland Security will do checks to avoid terrorist attacks. Yeah, Erica, I'm not going to get into that. That's methods and tactics. That's an operational security issue. I'm not going to address that. Okay, it's like humans meeting with an extra. Yeah, exactly. Would Donald Trump retract the program? Maybe all this the media makes him change his mind. No, Crystal, it's not going to make him change his mind. But programs typically are limited by the facts. If the facts on the ground change, then the program will stop. If South Africa stops being racist towards its ethnic minorities, then it'll probably stop. But probably not, because it's not about that. It's about South Africa's actions against U.S. national security interests. Okay. Okay. Bricks, yes. Mortar, no. Len Crow, so I recently found your channel and it's been so helpful and informed. Thank you for what you're doing. You're very welcome, Len. It's my pleasure. Thank you for your 35 Rand Super Chat. Chris, I don't know if this topic has been discussed, but South Africa is applying for another loan. Yes, I have, Roy. I discussed it on this program. Today. I talked about that today, this morning. And what did I say, folks? I said that the largest vote holder in the World Bank and the IMF is the largest contributor, the United States. We control, I don't know the current figure, but I want to say about 22 or 28%, which is a decisive amount of votes. And if the South African government thinks that they can continue to insult the United States and then go to the World Bank, and that's one of the things I said. So let me find that. I told people, in fact, let me go through these slides and I'll tell you, because someone just said it's about Iran. It is about Iran, but let me just give you a small sampling of the reasons why we have this mess, because I have that in a folder. That I can find. Here we go. South Africa's parliamentary tax on the U.S. Okay, let's start with slide 1, okay? All right, so I put these slides together and I put them in a video. So let's just go ahead and go with those. Okay, you ready for this, folks? Are you ready for this? Okay, so here you go. All right, this is South Africa's parliament is a house on fire. Trump some more. Fuck around and find out. Cape Town's foolish MPs keep insulting America. You ready for this? All right. When a country faces a crisis, it needs to unite and navigate against the threat. That is what we must do now. We must approach our trading partners and seek to lower tariff barriers across the board to compensate for any increase in tariffs by the U.S. Democratic Alliance leader, John Steenhuisen. Ladies and gentlemen, John Steenhuisen has called America a threat. Do you think that's going to go over very well in Washington? You think Johnny Boy calling America a threat to South Africa is going to go over well? It isn't. This is the same guy who called Donald Trump a dangerous, delusional person back in 2016. Yep, that would be the same John Steenhuisen. Yeah, I don't think sending John Steenhuisen to Washington is a good idea. I don't think the DA sending a delegation to Washington is a good idea, because you are shit in the eyes of Donald Trump because of your abusive language and nature. Calling us a threat because we won't give you free money, that's not a threat. Get off your ass and earn it yourself. Compensate for any increase in tariffs by the UF. We have not put tariffs on South Africa, but Trump has threatened 100% tariffs on BRICS countries if they don't stop their nonsense with the BRICS currency. So that's Johnny Boy Steenhuisen. That's what he's got to say, who hides behind the microphone. Joyce Malema. The U.S. has bullied nations before, imposed senseless and arbitrary sanctions, and threatened wars. We agree with you, President, that we should not be bullied. Joyce Malema. But you're not being bullied. You're bullying us. You're calling us names and telling us we're threatening you because we won't give you money? Talk about the kettle calling the pot black. Oh my goodness, folks. So that's Malema. Now here's John Schlope from the MK Party. A little more balanced, but still wrong. While we expect President Trump to end the imperialist war of NATO and Russia and disassociate from the neo-colonial and dishonest so-called green energy transitions imposed on the developing world, we do not agree with him and his promotion of white supremacists who claim they are facing genocide in South Africa. John Schlope, I don't know any white South African who's claiming genocide. I saw Citizen Concern take a video from some South African who claims to live in America who calls this genocide. But that is not AfriForum. That is not Solidarity. That is not the Freedom Front Plus. That is not me. That is not content. That is nonsense. And associating that comment by some random dipshit with these organizations is nonsense. You're the one saying genocide. It's the black people saying genocide, the political leaders. It's the black media saying genocide, not whites. Yeah, that's who's saying this. And white supremacists? No. See, John Schlope, you're just an ass. There's a reason you were impeached from the Western Cape High Court, because you're an idiot. And here's what he says. There's no genocide in South Africa. There's no threat of genocide. There are legitimate cries of historically and presently oppressed and excluded black majority who demand return of the land and wealth to the ownership and control of the people who as a whole and not the privileged true beneficiaries of apartheid and colonialism. That's just pure racist bullshit. Legitimate cries of historically and presently oppressed. Who are the presently oppressed? If there are black people presently oppressed in South Africa, it's by black people. The government's run by a majority black party and their cohorts in the ANC, in the DA. So how can you say they're oppressed? They're oppressed by the ANC. Return of the land and the wealth. The wealth on the farms was built by the farmers and the farm workers there. It wasn't expropriated from anybody. There were no dairy farms in South Africa in 1840. In 1838, when the Great Trek took place, there were no silos in the Highveld. There were no tractors. There were no plows. There were just people moving around with cattle. That's about it. What a bunch of nonsense, bigots and racists. Okay, Rise Mzansi's leader, Songezi Ziba. Now is the time to build an alternative export and foreign exchange earning streams and to guard jealousy, trade, and other relationships that we already have. Don't you realize that your threat to build a BRICS currency to cut the dollar out of international trade is part of the reason why you're in this boat? I guess this guy's a little thick. We must act with urgency and speed while being calm and considered in how we respond to a clearly tempestuous administration across the Atlantic. Well, he's right. It is a stormy administration, but there's a reason for the storm. We need it. The truths, the untruths the U.S. is peddling, said ZB, were deadly serious because they affected 17% of South Africa's HIV budget and about 15,000 associated jobs. Sengezo ZB, you're full of crap. They have nothing to do with South Africa's HIV budget. The 17% you're talking about, the $364 million last year in 2023, didn't go to the South African government. That's not part of your budget. That's our budget. It's our money, not yours. Fuck off. Unbelievable. And he said the following. Mr. President, we must not be caught napping. It's only a matter of time before we are removed from the AGOA arrangement, and God knows what other consequences. Yeah, that's true. You keep being assholes, you're going to get paid for it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the only measured response that took place in the response to the State of the Nation address by members of political parties. This comes from Action SA's chief whip, and this is spot on, 100% correct. Ready for this? You ready for the truth? You have chosen friends that are pariah nations who are neither democratic nor uphold human rights, nations at war with their own people, oppressive regimes. Conversely, we treat democratic nations, like the United States, our major trading partners, with disdain and insult. The New World Order sees which side you have picked, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. Action SA's chief whip, Athol Trollop. And he's 100% correct, ladies and gentlemen. He is 100% correct. That's exactly what has happened here. The ANC has chosen to pick countries that are anathema to our values and to our foreign policy and harm our interests, and then they want to whine that we're hurting them. What a disingenuous crock of losers, including the media in South Africa. Disingenuous. Now, so you might be saying, what does it matter? Okay, the U.S. can go its own way. That's fine. We can go our own way. We don't need South Africa. So I will show you just a small smattering of what the U.S. does and how it's important to South Africa. And if you think you can live without this, more power to you. Ramaphosa some more. The U.S. supports South Africa's needs in the G20, the IMF, and World Bank, and other fora. Now, I made this chart a few days ago. Before they announced they wanted more money, $1.5 billion. If the U.S. doesn't support South Africa's desire to get a $1.5 billion loan, which they'll never pay back to the IMF or the World Bank, how do you think that's going to go? So piss us off, fuck around, and find out. Annually, it's $20 billion in USA-South Africa trade, which is 5% of your entire economy. So if you think you can just piss away 5% of your economy because you want to get in an arguing contest with Americans when we've done nothing to you, we've done nothing to South Africa except we're not giving money away anymore. That's it. And we said, hey, these people can come here if they want. Who we let in our country is up to us, not to Pretoria, not to the ANC, not to the DA. No, it's up to us. We set the rules and conditions who come to this country. They've been abused for years. That's why they were suspended. And now we're going to let some people come in. That's our internal affairs. You're interfering in our internal business while accusing us of interfering in yours. It's nonsense. The United States is South Africa's second largest trading partner. South Africa has a trade surplus. You make more money off the U.S. than we make off of you. China is your largest trading partner. Until 2014, historically, year after year after year, for decade after decade, the United States was your largest trading partner. But now it's China. But we're still the second largest. If you can do without 5% of your GDP, go ahead. It's a rounding figure. For us, it means nothing. $20 billion in a $30 trillion economy is not even an accounting error. Doge will find more money that's been stolen than that in the next 2 weeks. You have duty-free access to the USA via the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. That's $3 billion a year in exports that aren't taxed. You pay no duty to send your goods into the United States. You don't give us reciprocity. We get nothing for that. The United States does not get to send anything to South Africa duty-free. We pay duty on everything. And we don't ask you to rescind that. Talk about not interfering in your internal affairs. The USA buys $430 million in South African minerals. That's 4% of your mineral exports. 63% go to China. You can't do without China. Can you do without 4% from America? Will platinum mines in Northwest remain open in the Bakwena Highway region of the Bafokeng? Will the Bafokeng be able to survive without the platinum money? You can survive without the cobalt money because we only get $32 million a year in cobalt. It's nothing. But piss around. We get that resource elsewhere. From 2003 until 2025, the United States gave South Africa $8.1 billion, 149 billion rand to fight HIV/AIDS. No conditions. No interference in your foreign policy. 150 billion rand we generously gave to South Africans to help them. And you want to piss all over us? And the USA gives an average of $500 million a year in gifted foreign aid to South Africa. And so they want to lie about America and spew this hatred nonsense. Fuck around and find out, man. Fuck around and find out. Athol Traub has got his head screwed on straight, but a lot of these people don't have their heads screwed on straight. 17,000 displayed interest ago, no applications, there's no program. Exactly, Stefan. We're all waiting for the final guidelines, okay? Cronier, maybe Trump is setting the table for greater sanctions. Yeah. He tried to send a warning. That's what he did. He sent a warning, but they're not listening. Oh, Buzzy's Moments got a membership, but you've stayed a member all this time, Buzzy's Moments. Wow, you got a castle there. Cool. Or it picked up the spot you were before. Agents of the narcissist ANC, how they recruit flying monkeys. Thanks for the news and update. Got to go. Pierre, well, okay, cool. Lionel says, tell you one thing. If it all comes through and more clarity, wife and I will see you very soon. All right, no, cool, Lionel. I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you on that issue, but I mean, I'd have to look at your individual case. I'd have to be at the embassy. That's strange. That's very strange. Heard Trump say all Afrikaners are welcome except Kurt Darren. Yeah, Napoleon. People keep telling that joke. Necro Crux says, thanks for the amazing work you're doing. What would the implications be for an American-based company South Africa once the U.S. starts implementing sanctions? Well, if the U.S. implements sanctions, it could be devastating for American companies' operations in South Africa. It could also be devastating for South Africans who work remotely for American companies, which is tens of thousands of South Africans. In fact, a significant portion of South Africa's white workforce is only employed because they work for American companies or British companies in South Africa. Yeah, that would be devastating. That's why sanctions have been imposed. But AGOA could easily be taken off, and it'll only affect the rich who are running out and pretending that there's nothing going on here. So the gentleman, Nick Serfontaine, the big rich farmer, says nothing's going on here, and he pisses all over those who will leave. Well, you can deny what's going on here. You'll be the one who pays the price when you can't export here without duty. Embassy email replied to me. They gave alternate email to query, and all queries will be handled by the Pretoria Embassy. No, it won't be handled by the embassy. They'll be handled by the consular section. Yeah, that's fine, Tim. Send me the email. Don't want to stay in a place that have tornadoes and earthquakes and cyclones. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have cyclones. There are no cyclones in America. Maybe Hawaii on every millennia. There are no cyclones here. There are no tornadoes here, and there are no earthquakes here. If you live on the Ring of Fire, which goes all around the Pacific, comes all the way over to the Arctic, around Alaska, down the west coast of North America, down to Latin America, then you live in earthquake zones. But there are no earthquakes here. The ground is settled here. And tornadoes, there's no tornado here. Those things happen everywhere. But this is not a tornado alley, so you're not near that. Okay. Good U.S. Ambassador Salvage should be able to relate all the inside corruption to Trump. Yeah, I'll be sure. What's that? Wow, we're really go back here. I am way behind this chat. 106. Okay, that's where I was at. Many people's move to U.S. will be delayed by selling property. Maybe. I hear back from U.S. Immigration Office. They said they will, in fact, be my Valentine. Okay. Robert Zeddy is trying to get his girlfriend to come. Neil DeBeer had some death threats against his family, the same ones who sing the song. Okay, I don't know if we have to fear war. Well, that should be a crime. That should be registered. Those people should be arrested for, yep. Might have to start a new channel for your South African audience living in America. Tips on how to assimilate. Please remove the BE first. Yeah, I'm with you. Palmer Golf, you're wrong. There's only 144 people speaking Afrikaans in South Africa. Okay, thanks for sharing that. You must have got that from Charlize Theron. Is there a limit to how many Iranian-like townships we're allowed to have in South Africa? No. Anybody can buy land and form a corporation and set the conditions people live there. There's no limit on that in South Africa. Yep, Angel Miss, South African government is an embarrassment. Yep. Bossman, do you think Petzer's memorandum will lead Trump to... No, he's not going to read that. See how long it is? Trump's not going to read that document. He's got time for that. He's not going to read that. Some staffer is going to get that, and they're going to pull a few highlights out and give it to Trump, and he's going to make some tweet that's partially correct. No, it's not going to have any impact. I appreciate that Willem Petzer did it. It got attention. It got the press, but that's all it's going to get. Nothing's going to come of it. Now watch, I say that, next thing I know, Willem Petzer is meeting with Donald Trump. No, don't hold your breath on that one. Will they hold back AGOA? What's this? Well, look, we have no control over South Africa's laws. That's what they're claiming America's doing. We have no control. So, Bossman, it doesn't matter. We don't have to look at your laws. We know what your shitty laws are already. I spent decades reporting on those shitty laws inside the intelligence community and analyzing what was going on in South Africa. The nationalization of water and minerals, that's a South African issue. We can't control that. We have no say over it. And it's not going to change. Will they hold back AGOA? They'll hold back AGOA because of South Africa's not eligible for AGOA. The mere introduction of expropriation without compensation is a violation of the law. Ladies and gentlemen, Bossman, everyone listening, I will show this to everyone once again. I have pulled this from the law and made a chart. I've got to make a folder for these things. I really, really do. Keep telling myself I'm going to do that and I haven't done it yet. Oh, that's too far. How do I get all the way back there? Where's it at? There it is. I got it. Eligibility for the African Growth and Opportunity Act. That's what I'm looking for, okay? All right. Eligibility. This is the eligibility. In order to be eligible for African Growth and Opportunity, which South Africa is not, you must, under Section 104 of the law, have a market-based economy that protects private property rights. You see it circled in red? Protects private property rights. If you don't do that, you're not eligible. South Africa shouldn't be in AGOA. It's illegal. It's against the law. The law sets the standards, and South Africa violated the law. So they shouldn't be in it. Done and dusted. Plain and simple as that. That's what's going to drive whether they stay in AGOA or not. Nothing to do with your water rights or mineral rights. That's on you to fix in South Africa. That's not for us to say. What about looting, burglary, murder at home as a result of war starting overseas? Let's pray. No idea what you're talking about there, Dove. Yeah, the DA is digging their graves. Yep. What do you mean? Time for bed. People go to bed early, man. It's only 8 o'clock. Okay, so aid stopped. I think the next step is canning AGOA and even sanctions. No, aid didn't stop. No, okay, let me clarify something, Drew. Aid didn't stop. See, that's the other lie that's being told to you. Aid never stopped. It never stopped on January 20th when Trump froze foreign aid. because he only froze new funding commitments. And people lost their minds and misreported and lied and said they were shut down and got stop work orders. No such thing happened. So on the 28th of January, the Secretary of State issued a waiver for humanitarian programs to make it clear to these dunderheads who are trying to lie for political achievement to undermine the Trump administration, claiming that they would have been told to stop when they hadn't. He issued a humanitarian waiver. In the case of South Africa, that aid never stopped. And the 20th of January reaffirmed that the aid never stopped. It's still there. It's still flowing. If you're not getting services because you have people who are lying to you and misleading you politically for their own gain. The aid will continue in South Africa, except you can't make new commitments. It will continue until 30 September when that money runs out under the current authorization. And then you'll get no more aid. So the aid didn't stop. The aid will stop. And that's the lie, because people are too thick, too stupid, too dishonest to tell the truth. AGOA, yes, that's coming. It's going to be canceled. Sanctions could happen. Yep. Anyone vote for the A is out of their tree. My wife said I had to come back. What? Oh, you have to come back to the show, Pierre. That's funny. Jane Smith, welcome to you. Neil DeBeer is also on his way to the USA. I'm aware of that. I've known about that since before any of you did. Okay. Johan de Villiers, Witkant. Yes, indeed, the Witkant. We should not be bullied. We'll do that bit. Exactly, Johan Meinhardt. They're the ones doing the bullying, not us. It's funny that the EFF says that when the ANC ran to the USA to put sanctions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the EFF ran to the USA to get sanctions put on South Africa. Remember that? They're like little kids. Can't get what they start calling names and passing the buck. Exactly. Paintings by Mika. Random dipshit. Who's the random dipshit? John is lacking backbone and showing disdain for DA voters. The colonel is present. Well, I'm not a South African, so I can't do that. Braun. Okay. I'm jumping ahead here. Hey. Odin's Viking, don't listen to media, don't listen to politicians, don't listen to any NGOs. Exactly. They all have something in it. They're all trying to get something from you. Here I am with just a tiny little super chats, and that's not why I'm here. I'm still doing it. Vote UIM, Neil DeBeer. Okay. Neil Diamond is in Washington on the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. They have a page where you can show interest. 17,000 applicants refers to the 17,000. Yes, I'm aware of that. That's why I'd like to interview Neil Diamond. But I need a contact for him. Me going through the website's not going to accomplish anything. G-Man, let's not create names, okay? Let's see you rise and take care of Mzanzi, exactly. Juan Pierre Mayer says, read an article in which said the U.S. South Africa is sending a strong contingent to fix relations. Do you think it'll change? No, it's just going to piss us off. Yeah, I know who Trollope was, your mayor years ago. Municipality was really well run. I know Ethel Trollope. I've been on a panel with him in Somerset West. I've interviewed him on here a couple of times in this program, and I've known him for a long time. He's a very honorable person. It's a shame he's in the Action SA. Land will not mean anything when they have it. Yeah, because it won't be maintained. It'll just fall apart and be what it was before. Nothing. Okay. The world cannot invest in South Africa. Exactly. China. I only wonder what Elon could find if he audits South. Oh my gosh. If we lose trading with China and India, since they take raw resources and send them back, yeah, it costs way more. That's correct. Sorry. Okay. Tarico Railways, I agree. I just want to go back to basics. I don't think any of the money that U.S. gave South Africa was ever used for what it was given for. Well, Marissa, that's not true. The money wasn't given to South Africa. See, I've said this a million times now. The money we give through USAID and foreign aid doesn't go to the government of South Africa. The loans do. That's different. But the money from foreign aid doesn't go to the government of South Africa. It goes to third parties. Yep. Stefan the Whistleblower, the good Lord put half the world's gold and diamonds in South Africa. They need more money from USA balance books. Well, that's because there's no gold left, Stefan. South Africa is a minor gold producer. It's just 100 million ounces last year. That's it. They're the 9th largest producer in the world, well behind China, the largest, the US, Australia, Canada, well behind Russia. Okay. The CIA had nothing to do with 1994. That's all on the National Party. Anyone know how many South Africans all races left in the last 10 years? No one has accurate statistics. Honestly, I don't know how the ANC, EFF, and MK think they're going to have a prosperous country and economy without international investment. Well, because they're stupid. Do you actually think these people are that bright? Most of the talented and educated people in the ANC were because they were sent abroad during the struggle. So like Thabo Mbeki, they went to Oxford and schools in Canada and US and elsewhere to become educated. Others went to the Soviet blocs. The ones who are educated and have that talent are all dead or pushed out of the ANC and have no influence. So it's run by morons who don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. All right, so there you go. Caught up to date here. Erica Sothi says, the Southern government assaulting USA and other inappropriate actions. Do you think U.S. embassy and consulate presence will be reduced? No. We can't. We have a lot of stuff going on in South Africa, a lot of interest there, a lot of Americans in South Africa. And so we wouldn't close our consular services in Cape Town, Durban, or Joburg unless they were under threat, physical threat. That's the only reason we close them. There's just too much. Those people are not bored. Those people sitting in our consular sections in those 4 cities are not bored in South Africa. Trust me. We won't close that. And this is even without your refugee program. They for Americans, they're so busy. South Africa might become the Zimbabwe. Well, South Africa is another Zimbabwe already, Hans. It already is. It's horrible. Yep. My family and friends are still trapped in Randburg, and I'm afraid they are being persecuted, and Aussie is focused on attracting skilled. No, Australia is not interested in focusing on attracting skilled and educated immigrants. They're only focused on attracting people of color from Asia to Australia. Otherwise, they don't want you. And I know this because I know an American who lives in Australia, and he can only live there because his wife is Australian. The man has more skills than you shake a stick at, and he can't get a permanent residency until he was married to an Australian. People remember that one time, South Africa, they wanted to change the name to Azania. Yes, I remember that. And Mzansi, Azania, take your pick. What is the 860 Rand, Nick? Talking about the recent meeting between Ramaphosa and Soros. I didn't see that, Manny. Copy's still here. What'd she have to say? Chinese and Russian gold mines in Africa. Oh, yeah. Yep, they are definitely Chinese and Russian gold mines in Africa. How are we doing? We're up to, wow, we're not getting many subscribers here, folks. Today it's slow. 44,373. Things are slowing down. After 62,000 views and 69,000 views, none of my last 5 videos have topped 21,000 views. That's disappointing. The Groot Trek, beware the charlatans. Apparently, people want to believe fools out there that'll tell them whatever they want to hear. People aren't watching it. That's a shame. But hey, what are you going to do? You can't control these things. Right. Let me just check on something really quickly here. So, we started this year December 31st. Thank you, Arctic. Start stripping for subs. No, I'm not stripping for subs. Was replying for, thank you very much, Nick, that you're paying for electricity. Don't apologize. I just didn't know what that was. I thought it was directed at me because you didn't put it at somebody. So, on December 31st, we had 20,398 subscribers. We have 24,000, well, almost 24,000 more than we had then. We are 25 subscribers short of being 24,000 more. Oh, here comes Nick with more gifted memberships. Okay. Yeah, the subscription views will skyrocket when the sanctions come. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I know. I'm not complaining. I'm sharing with my audience. I do this. I let you know what's going on. Thank you, Herman. I'm not going to do all these salutes. Sorry. A lot of people cannot afford increased electricity. You're right about that. Crystal saying, Nick, me. Well, Crystal, Nick has no say over it. He doesn't pick who they are. YouTube does that at random. And they pick who people are on the website at the time watching the channel, and you get picked. People that don't want membership get membership. So it happens. We are 4 people at the moment. Every month it's a struggle to keep the lights on. Borrow here, borrow there. We're so hutful. I hear you, Marissa. I hear you. Yep. What will happen if this people close the border? Where'd the message go? Don't delete your messages. Brenda Opperman gave us 70 Rand super chat. Thank you for that, Brenda. U.S. refugee program equals Groot Trek 2 or the new Vit Blitz. But it's not the Vit Cunt. We're not accepting the Vit Cunt. That's just funny. Anyway, so the bottom line is that people like. Okay, I'm gonna copy. You're still here. I'm gonna do it again. We're gonna do it with 644 people. We're gonna do it one more time. It's been over a week. Okay, would you? Okay. All right, here's the poll. It's up. 633 people still here. Your chance to answer the question. The poll is up. Okay, such a blessing to the channel community. It is, Dove. Thank you. And Nick is very generous. Where do you live, Colonel? In Pennsylvania. Colonel Sanders is dead, and he was never a colonel. It was a fake title. I'm actually a real colonel. Colonel Sanders was not a real colonel. Just like Colonel Parker, for Elvis's manager, was not a real. He was an illegal immigrant from the Netherlands. That's why Elvis never got to go overseas, because he was afraid he would lose control of him, because he would never get back in the country because he was illegal here. Green Berets are in Mexico to forces by Streamlabs. What are you talking about, Blixum? Green Berets in Mexico. See, you spoke of populations declining 2100, which brings me to want to know your thoughts on people in American media saying that the majority of whites will be. Well, it's possible, but that's a misleading statement. Whites in America are 75% of the population. In 1960, they were 89% of the population was white. But immigration law changed in the early 1960s, no small measure because of people like Senator Ted Kennedy and others who changed it because they wanted to let more Irish in here, and they changed the program in a way that actually was exploited by other people. And so the country, which used to have racist laws to prevent people from China and from Asia and Africa from ever coming here, were changed to let people from come in from all over the world. And as a consequence, the percentage of the white population declined. But they present that as if white Americans are going extinct. When I was born, the population of the country was somewhere around 160 million people. 160 million people, roughly. Of that 160 million people, 89% were white. So that's 89 million plus 9 million for every 9 times 5 is 45, 54. So out of the 160 million people, there were like 130 million or 100 plus that were white. Today, in 2025, we have 330 million people and 75% are white. So 335 million, that's 175, 75, 75. That's 225 million. And then another 5 or 10 million. So it's about 235 million white, 240 million white people in this country. So that's over 100 million more white people than there were 60 years ago. Yes, this percentage. Well, we'll see. This will probably change the scope of things. Yep. So J Gamers, that answer your question. I wish that South Africa could be a better country. So do I. So do I. You're building a raft, says Marcel Kalk. You're coming here on a raft? That's a long journey, brother. Can you share? What's this? Okay. My mom asked me to put a flower in Elvis's grave in Memphis if I go. Yeah, I knew Elvis Presley. I don't think a lot of people know that. For the 600 plus people who are here, I knew Elvis Presley as a child. My father was a contractor. We lived in a trailer park. Speaking of trailer parks, we lived in a trailer park in Memphis. And it is Memphis, right? Where Graceland's at? Yeah. I was just a little kid. And it was before Elvis got all fat and blown up because of the prescription drugs and drinking and food and stuff. And I used to run around Graceland as a little kid. Elvis was one of the kindest human beings I ever met. What a nice man. I'd like to thank you for your honest, direct updates. I appreciate that you do not sugarcoat anything. I want to thank you for your integrity and honesty. You're very welcome. Christo Morrison and a wife from Free State were murdered on a farm Friday. They were dumped in different pits. I saw that in their 70s. Dublixer says, apologies. I heard from some military channels they believe the Green Berets are deployed. Okay. Well, no reason for apologize, Blixen, but you heard through some military channels that people believe that Green Berets are in Mexico. I can't act on that. So, I mean, that's rumors and hearsay, and that's the problem. It's like when I got the voice message last night in Afrikaans telling me that Venu Tutoy had been murdered. I'm like, what? I ran it down before I went with that story. I mean, that would be horrible. But there was a Venu Tutoy, a Captain Venu Tutoy from SAPS who was killed in a robbery. Errol says, it's starting to look a bit inviting to go to the USA if there's going to be work for us. We really need to okay, first, so when you say there's going to be work for you, there's no work for you. No one's holding jobs for you. However, there's tons of jobs here. Lots of work. Okay, jobs. Camp Hill. Okay, jobs, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Okay, jobs in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Okay, let me just show you this. You do a Google search, jobs, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Okay. All right, there are some specific jobs on Google. This isn't the best place to find jobs, but jobs in Camp Hill, $20 to $41 an hour. Jobs in Camp Hill, ZipRecruiter. Okay, ZipRecruiter is a good place to go to find jobs. So these are jobs currently available. Customer service representative at a collision center, making $15.75 to $21 an hour full time. Sales associate at the Dormont Village. That's a retirement community. That's in Pittsburgh. That's not here. Research assistant, medical office assistant, Camp Hill, Capital Area Cardiovascular Associates. AT&T authorized dealer, customer services, that's sales representative. Project manager for Linga Tech. Administrative assistant, property management, Camp Hill. Outside sales professional, outside sales rep, customer service rep. Yeah, these are not jobs I would want. Costco, hiring at $25 an hour in Costco. Anyway, so those lottery sales representative for the state of Pennsylvania, making $77,000 a year. United States Army Security Assistance Command Administrative Assistant. That's a government position, New Cumberland. You work for the Army Security Assistance Command. Yep. Yeah, that's a government job. Yeah, the list goes on and on. So there's that. Here's a few jobs specifically at Google's listing. Trader Joe's, that's a grocery store. Sheetz is a petrol station, a pharmacy courier, a retailer, customer service. These are all customer service jobs here. Yeah, but look at all those jobs. A banker, PNC Bank in Camp Hill. I know that bank. Yeah. So Plasma Center assistant manager, elementary school transport. That's a bus driver. Commercial driver. Barista in Starbucks. Maintenance reliability supervisor, third shift. Yeah, there's more work here than you shake a stick at. We've always got jobs. Always got jobs. There must be refinery work. Yeah, there's refinery, but there's no refineries here. Refineries are located mostly in the Gulf states. Just worried about the colors from Eastern Cape Flats and lots of places in Hauteng who live in squatter camps. Also the poor whites. Well, just a human being, I worry about those people too. Well, will Trump make a move? We don't know. We have to wait for the program. And Arctic just told you to do that. And she says, thank you, Chris. Appreciate all the hard work you put in to keep us updated with honest reports, not like the other media. Currently, I've perhaps interviewed Professor Pete Krugkamp. He's very biased towards Afrikaners, blames AfriForum for Trump cutting off aid and possible canceling of AGOA. No, I don't. Where'd that go? Come on. I've never interviewed him, Meerkat. And if he believes that the AfriForum is responsible, then he's not very well informed. PNC's from Pittsburgh. That's correct. That's where they're headquartered at. There are a lot of welder jobs. Yep. Okay. I'm over 40, single white Afrikaner. I've been waiting my whole life for an opportunity to move to America. Yep. Well, there you go. But you have to learn to drive. Well, you're correct, Copy. You do have to learn to drive on the correct side of the road. We don't have any of that drunken, driving in the passing lane over here. Yeah. South Africans drive on the wrong side of the road. They drive on the left. And it's confusing for the 85% of the world that drives on the correct side of the road, the right-hand side. So you overtake in the left lane, you drive in the right lane. Very simple concept. Very confusing. Japan, some countries in Southern Africa and the UK, just so confused. A lot of people talk about leaving South Africa and never take the plunge because they're scared of the unknown. Exactly. It's not easy to do. Americans have huge pocket change problem. No car guards or street vendors, so you need extra coin. Exactly. No street vendors. Most South Africans are going to suffer when I'm leaving for USA because I'm leaving my mother's behind. Okay, why would you leave your mother-in-law behind, Johan Pratt? Why would you do that? That's very callous. Why would you do that? Why would you leave your mother-in-law behind? Why wouldn't she apply for refugee status? I think it's a fair question. Why would you do that? Does she not want to leave? Weather is not like anything year-round Napoleon Dynamite. We're in a temperate zone. We have spring, summer, winter, fall. The weather changes all year long. And right now it's cold. It's it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was yesterday. But it's 42 degrees, which is quite nice. A good day to go skiing. Confusing time. Might as well drive on the confused side. My youngest son asked me if he can join the Army. Vilma, I've answered that question many times. It depends if you meet the standards. You don't even have to come to America to join the American Army. You can join our Army from abroad. We have thousands of foreign nationals serving in uniform. It's always the case. We've always done that. The Civil War was fought overwhelmingly by immigrants who weren't even American citizens, who died on the battlefield to end slavery or to protect states' rights, whichever side you're on. Yep. Chancellorsville, we had Irish brigade in the Confederate Army and an Irish brigade in the Union Army, and they fought each other and killed each other. Yep. Yep. Nick would leave his mother-in-law behind. Talyard says that, the passport application offline. Well, you knew that was coming, and that may be intentional, or more likely it's simply because they're overwhelmed. The servers are probably crushed. They can't handle the demand. But nobody wants to leave South Africa. No real Afrikaner would leave South Africa, according to Nick Serfontein, who was part of Ramaphosa's land audit or land commission. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Domestic workers still allowed in certain states? I'm asking, as I'm sure. Rhino girl, seriously? Seriously? You want to ask about domestic workers? There are domestic workers allowed all over America, but only rich, privileged people have domestic workers. South Africans of average means have domestic workers. You're not going to have that here. You have to pay Social Security and unemployment and medical insurance for people who are domestic workers. Who can afford that and pay them a salary? What about the old people unable to work? What about them, Boat? What about old people unable to work? What does it matter? This isn't immigration. It's not immigration. It's refugee. Refugees are everybody. Arn Tennyson said, you mean the whole world drives on the wrong side of the road? No, they drive on the right side of the road. 85, 90% of the world drives on the right side of the road, which is the correct side of the road. Yes, your right hand is free to hold the beer. Well, I'm left-handed, so it works for me better the other way. State of our roads, we have gotten used to driving what's left of the road. Correct, Leovin, you're right. Johan Pratt said you never met her. No, I didn't. Okay, so you want to leave her behind, but you're sad to leave her behind. I'm a little confused, Johan. I don't know. But any idea when the refugee... Yeah, Lee, do you think no one's asked that question? It's only been asked a zillion times. Nobody knows. It's only the government, the United States government knows, and they're taking their sweet-ass time to tell people. I worked in West Africa, Mexico, Colombia, and Canada, so no issue driving on the correct side of the road. Scared for my 80-year-old mom. She prays for guidance, but will not go with me. Maybe Trump is setting the table for major sanctions due to the BRICS and Iran. Yeah, he is. He is, Kanye. That's what he's doing. But he doesn't have to set the table. He can just take action. What state is similar to the Free State? Minus the mountains that are on the eastern side of the Free State. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. Stage 4 lung cancer. That's what my mom had. Yep. Yeah, you won't keep warm here if you think is winter clothes. Zendra Kokomor, moon pies still available? Yeah, you can get moon pies. Does Chris know what the Broderbund is? Yes, I do. How does that remain there, Ludwig Johannes Rus? Veit Chris wie de Broderbund is. Yes, I know who they are. Folks at Sevens would love to go north. Nebraska, Iowa, Northwoods both also want to work for. Okay. The most difficult thing will be to switch from metric system. Again, we have metrics here. I don't know why people think we don't have metrics. You're not very well informed, folks. We have metrics. I was just looking to see what the measurement is here on this, but I can't see on the bottle. Yeah, we put metrics on everything. Passport expires in 2028, Steve. Well, you better hope that they have the program before then. M says, if we left tonight, what do you wear? A Trek suit. Once America's refugee program starts, countries like Australia will follow suit. We'll see. Yep, Nick Serfontaine is prodding cock. Yep. Michelle Bota says, let those who want to stay speak for themselves. The rest of us want to leave. You can't import ivory to America. It's illegal. It's banned. You can't import ivory statues. Unless that law has been changed and I'm unaware of it. The environmentalists and the conservationists stopped that from happening. You can't bring ivory into the country. USA is too dangerous. The chance of getting smoked is way too high with all the gun arcade. Yeah. Okay. Are your eyes brown, Spikerhorn? Because you're pretty full of it. USA's wage chance of getting smoked. I live here every day. You see me a victim of gun violence? Nope. Nope. You're just full of it, Spikerhorn. Where are you coming up with that bullshit at? How can somebody make such a broad statement about a country that is 5,000 kilometers wide, 2,500 kilometers deep, with 330 million people spread out over mountains, prairies, deserts, high plains, desert chaparral, swamps, jungles, the world's largest temperate rainforest? Seriously? Not to mention we have Alaska and Hawaii too. Give me a break. Just leave all the gangsters, criminals behind. Okay? You don't need a passport for refugee. Napoleon, that can be the case, but I can't state what the case is in this one. So we should be careful about offering that advice. That may be the case. And that is often the case. But we don't know. South Africa is not a country at war. So, we'll see. Charles Venter, keep the dominant hand on the steering wheel. Use the other for changing gears. Actually, my dominant hand is on the steering wheel. It's the left hand. And my right hand is for the shifting. Can the refugees have garden boys? I'm not the garden boy. Crystal says, I missed the question. If you've answered, I'm sorry, but have you seen or met Donald Trump? No. Your domestic clean will be sorely missed. Well, you can't be lazy. You want to come here, you can't be lazy. You got to clean your own stuff. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying people can't be. Okay. All right. No garden boys. Yes, Valerie, I know that not everybody has domestic workers, but a lot of you do. A lot of you do. A lot of black folks have domestic workers. Now we can get to the crux of the matter. Lazy South Africans want to stay because they don't want to clean up after themselves. Well, Mike, we say it's not rocket scientists, but it does get a little confusing for off-ramps and on-ramps for people. Refugees sound so sad. It does sound sad. Game theory. In 2022, I decided my niece should do her GED, and she's currently studying. Think this will open some doors for her? Well, it'll show that she's high school graduate. She has a general equivalency degree from the States, and she won't have to go back to school. But your education records will probably transfer over to if you graduate from school. So I don't think it'll make a difference. A GED doesn't mean much of anything. Doesn't mean much of anything. A bachelor's degree doesn't mean a whole lot. Master's degrees are usually where you really have to have the qualifications to get into things that play well. Louise Ice says, I don't want to leave. This whole thing has stressed me out. Never been so confused, giving everything up. Louisa, then don't give everything up. Don't be confused. Don't be stressed out. Don't listen to other people. This is not a channel promoting people leaving South Africa. We're just informing people, and it's not even for that. It's my news channel. I'm trying to help my friend. Single white woman is desperate to get out of South Africa. What steps she should be taking? No steps, Mary. There are no steps to take. There are no steps to take. For America, anyway. The program doesn't exist until it's published. So there's no steps to take. That's the advice. However, if you live in South Africa and you don't have a passport, you should have a passport. You should always have a passport wherever you live in the world. If you don't have a passport, get one. Apparently, though, the servers are down or the site is down, so I don't know what you're going to do. Good evening. Please, do you have some insight to the orientation? We obviously need to learn your culture nuances, but laws and basics. Any idea how long this takes? That's an open-ended question, Francois, and I really don't know what you're getting at specifically. You got to be more specific. What do you mean orientation? I don't know how it works when you come here as a refugee, what they do for you specifically, when they put you in. Every state's different. Some states, the federal government offers services, the state governments offer services, local communities offer services, faith-based organizations offer services. Some of these are obligatory, some of them are voluntary that they provide. I can tell you an example that when we bring students that come to America whose first language is in English to the War College, we put them in a 3-month program. They come over here, they get a stipend to come here, they rent a place. They get classes on how to acquire a driver's license here, how to purchase a car, how to get medical insurance, all these different things, all taken care of. Oh, they get paid for it by their own militaries, and we take care of them for 3 months over here before the War College even starts. So they form cohorts. They become friends with people in the class with them from around the world, particularly the Africans. And then when the class starts, they have an advantage because most of the Americans don't know each other, and they're just coming in. They're in the class the first day, and in one group you might have a guy from Honduras and a guy from Zambia, and they're friends because they've been together for 3 months. And the Americans come in, and so they're already acclimated. So we do that and help them a lot. But you get a speeding ticket, it's your speeding ticket. So I'm not really sure, Francois Erasmus, what more you want me to answer or how to answer that. My brother-in-law was a lieutenant colonel in SADF. He joined the U.S. Army as a private. There you go. He must have been under the age. Yeah, the polls give an indication why Home Affairs is off lines. Exactly. Marcel Koch. Yes, Maddie. What did Maddie say? Kurtz, I'm sure U.S. government can take taxes from younger working South Africans to help with older folks. No, the money doesn't go from one group of people to another. It goes from all of us into a pot. Most people are right-handed, so it was logical to pass your opponent on the left side while you're holding your weapon in your right hand. What did Chris Sten say? I don't see what Chris said. Adele DeFries, welcome to you. My mother is betting things will come right. The reality is hit farmers hasn't come to us yet, fortunately, but things are like the boiling frog. Don't realize it until it's too late. I get where you're coming from, Dublixum. I understand. Yeah, well, if she can't see it, then we can't help her. Is it true Trump only stopped money to South Africa only because Israel debacle, not about the land reform? No, that's not true. That's not true, Hilami. And I don't even analyze it. I don't even analyze it. It's right here in his statement. It says it right there why he did it. The abuse of minorities, the treatment of Israel, and Iran. That's 3 reasons. But I can tell you, and I just spent a whole time, and obviously you weren't here, I just spent a whole bit of time early in the stream going through a small list of all the offenses that South Africa has committed against the United States and against our national interest. A whole bunch of them. So, it's a lot more than what these people are claiming. Sorry for being vague. Would the old people unable to generate income be cared for by the state? No, they won't be cared for by the state. That's not the state's responsibility. However, they're not going to leave you destitute. And we've had this conversation early in this broadcast, too. This is the 3rd time this has come up in this broadcast. And I said before, I don't know how that works, but I do know that we have been giving Social Security benefits to people who aren't eligible because they're elderly and they never paid in the system. You must pay into the system. In fact, I have to pay 17% of my income to Social Security every paycheck. Every time I get money, I have to drop 17% of Social Security because they rob my money to pay for old people. And a lot of those are people that never contribute to the system. So there are programs and assistance available. But I don't know the answer specifically, Brock, and no one can tell you that unless they work for the U.S. government and they place people. So let's wait until we get the stats on what's going to happen. Some U.S. banks allow international account openings. Banks like Citibank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo have international branches and partnerships that allow non-U.S. residents to open bank accounts. Yeah, sure. And they're incredibly expensive. Bank of America is only located in a few places abroad. It's not in South Africa. Citibank is located in many places abroad. And Wells Fargo is located almost nowhere abroad. So good luck with that. But yeah, you also have many online banks. You can open online banks. We have Capital One has what used to be the ING Orange Bank. They bought that out several years ago, but there's online savings and banking. There's lots of ways to move money around. Okay. What's your opinion of South African troops in DRC? They have no business being there. All they're doing is fueling a conflict. And it's, once again, little toy soldiers in the ANC and in Washington who send us off to our deaths. As a 36-year Army veteran, I've lost colleagues because of the stupidity of idiots like John Bolton. Yep. They have no business in the Congo. They shouldn't be there. Okay. Died from colon cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. Colonel's right. Americans do not have maids. When you get here, you'll understand why robot vacuums are bestsellers. And Elon's robot. I don't have a robot vacuum. Chris says, not even going to bother with a passport. It'll take 50 years to get it for Home Affairs. Maddie wants me to say Moor. Moor. My dad's pal had American bison stuff in his bar. There's, okay. Just saw an AI video of Trump saying he's doing sanctions. It does say fake, but pretty funny. That is funny. Rather work, get my off my job. Okay. Hey, Chris, what about guns imported? Nope. Nope, you can't bring guns. Can't bring guns. That's one of the 14 questions I didn't include. 15th question. Nope, you can't bring guns. Fred's going to DM me about something. Yeah, smuggling of ivory. Can't bring ivory. Oh, Steven's not going to get Silverado. He's going to go Ford. Okay, well, there's a Ford dealership not too far from where I live. Looking forward to a better future. Well, that's a good thing to look forward to, wherever you're staying in South Africa, you're coming here. Theodorus, the U.S. trains African military cadets, and they get U.S. citizenship. They come back to Africa, and they terrorize their own people. Yeah, that's untrue. That's a lie, Theodorus. That's untrue. You're misleading people. That's bullshit. We don't train military cadets and give them American citizenship. That's a lie. The only military cadets trained from Africa are at West Point. And I'm not aware of any Ugandans ever attending West Point. I could be wrong on that matter. We've had Nigerians attend West Point. We've had Liberians attend West Point. We've had others from Africa attend West Point. But it's a very small number of people. We don't train African military cadets. That's a lie. And to terrorize on people. You've seen no such thing in Uganda. You may have seen Ugandan People's Defense Force members who have participated in the International Military Education and Training Program I'm at and gone to America for a training course as an NCO or as a welder or as an armor student or as an infantry officer or something like that. And then they come back to Africa. But they're not American citizens. Where are you getting this horse shit from? We don't turn foreign military people into citizens. That's a lie. Where do you get this stuff from, Theodorus? Who tells you this stuff? Yeah, you make a lot of great contributions to the conversation, but then you come up with this wild stuff that comes out of nowhere. That's nonsense. See, that's the shit that happens in South Africa. People spread nonsense like that. There's no truth to that statement whatsoever. None. We don't give citizenship to people who come here and go to military school. Quite the opposite. Been unemployed for 7 months now. Carlo. Wise, pretty good online bank. I'm not familiar with that one. Are there many state and regional national banks here? Oh, in South Africa. There aren't here, though. There have been 14 mass shootings in the U.S. for the month of February. Where, Pablo? Where? I haven't heard of any of those. Arden Tennyson, a question I answered earlier. JD speech in Munich was fantastic. Spot on. There's the pact. Okay. Don't want to comment on domestic U.S. politics. Doesn't seem appropriate currently. Okay. Who's got the most helium potential? I don't know, Spiker Hunt, off the top of my head. Helium is a scarce resource, a very scarce resource. And I forget who has the most. But I don't need to have helium so I can listen to people speak at high levels. Paul Ferreira, welcome to you. All right, I'm going to close the poll. We got 500 votes on it. So the numbers are even higher today. So the numbers when I started this poll in the first night were running about 69%, and then went down to 67, 69. I did it almost every day. Not every day, but since the previous Friday. So over a week ago now, about 9 days. And here it's 87%. Again, not a representative sample of South Africa. Not even remotely a representative sample. But Cybertruck is pretty damage resistant. Somebody's being a smartass there. You can apply for a passport FMB. Really? I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you for all the information. We're following your show for all the news and updates. Cannot trust the media and the comrades. No, you can't. Discovered one of the biggest in the Free State. Yeah, I think I read that, Spikerman, that they found helium in the Free State. Yep. No, if worse comes to worse, anyone stay behind or on their own. God has pulled the Afrikaner-born nation through, and they will survive many bad situations. Not sure if you need documentation or anything, but they are legal. Can I send money to my son who is a U.S. citizen to keep for me via PayPal? Yeah, you can send money anytime, but PayPal takes a fee. Speaking of which, if anybody wants a super chat, we have PayPal. You can do PayPal anytime, but there's a fee for it. It used to be free, but now they do a fee. There's a fee. I'm trying to find it now. So where's it at? I always have a hard time finding this damn thing. There it is. So you can send something to support me if you want on PayPal, and they take a small fee out. But it's less than YouTube, and it's usually less than Western Union MoneyGram. Why do PayPal when there's crypto? Because most people don't speculate with crypto. I'm not going to try Mua again. I don't think the ANC cares about doing the right thing. Yep. R1's back. I'm eagerly waiting more info on what is an Afrikaans refugee. You can't apply. Aren't we all? Want to ask about Kash Patel. Have you heard anything? No, his confirmation was delayed for a week, so it has to come up this week. FMB and APSA are both doing passports. Used APSA many times. I didn't know that. So the reason that there's a delay in information is Trump is cleaning house with deportations. No, that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it. Can a female specialize in certain armed security find similar jobs? Of course. Of course, but we don't have armed security like you have in South Africa. We have them, but they're not everywhere. I mean, I never see armed security guards or security services. They exist, but it's not like South Africa where they're everywhere. You have almost 750,000 people in South Africa employed as guards in South African security services. Can I send you money? I'm willing to settle for a 5% transaction fee. Yeah, wanted to send a few rand, but Google wants my banking details. Well, PayPal's there. Why would Google need your banking details? They just need your credit card. I'm not sure if you've answered this question. It's not in the top 14. Okay, do you know if you need to have a fixed address when becoming a refugee? Maddie, I can't answer because I don't know, but I can tell you from a common sense perspective, no. Why would you have a fixed address? Refugees don't have fixed addresses. They're fleeing. Most refugees slide across the border from Darfur into Chad, go to a UN camp, register as a refugee with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, and then seek a destination to go to. And the U.S. takes some of them. That's how it works. They don't have a fixed address. The fixed address is a tent in the Chadian desert. So I don't think you'll need it. I'm sure they'll want it if you have one, just for contact purposes. It took me less than 5 minutes to get used to driving the correct side of the road. Thank you, Alexander. CIA is almost already here. Most of them are ex-Marines. I don't know what CIA you dealt with, but I worked with CIA all over the world, and very few of them are former Marines. Very few of them are former Marines. Where in the States a lot of South Africans? California, Texas, Virginia. Yep. Just a heads up, there are home affairs outlets at certain banks. That's what someone was just saying. So, all right. So there's that. Stephen, thank you for becoming a member. Okay. Nothing to do with the bank. It's just still home affairs. So the system is down. No passport application. There you go. Oh, you're explaining. Thank you, Lauren. You're clarifying it's all tied together. Yep. Some refugees are more high speed than other refugees, but they're refugees nonetheless, I guess. Apologies. My intention is not to misinform. I watch the Uganda program. Theodorus, no need to apologize. No need. You notice I didn't get angry at you. I didn't throw anything. I didn't throw my things at the screen. That would cost me money. I have to replace it. I'm just saying that sometimes you come with things that make no sense. Please tell us where you get it from, because I can rubbish it. Apologies. My intention is not to misinform. I watched a Uganda program called Morning Breeze on YouTube. An Army general was being interviewed and said he was trained in the U.S. and got citizenship. No, he's a liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. I've dealt with Ugandans. Plenty of liars in Uganda. I lived in Uganda. No, he didn't get citizenship. He may have gotten citizenship, but it wasn't for being in the U.S., being in the military. No, that's untrue. That's untrue. Okay, guys, I'm not going to change how I say the word, okay? Thank you for the advice. Appreciate it. Get me a Bormaisi. Give me a Hadi Bormaisi, and I'll hang out with her, and then I'll learn how to say it properly. If U.S. and other countries follow suit with U.S. offer, which country would you choose? I wouldn't go to the U.K. It's a fascist totalitarian state, flooded with criminals who rape children. Oh! Sarcasm alert. No, I wouldn't go to the UK. There's no free speech in the UK. You can't have assembly there, no freedom of assembly. If you're proud of being a British citizen, you're incarcerated and put in jail. And if you say something about the government, they come after you. No, I wouldn't go there. Wouldn't go to Australia either. Wouldn't go to New Zealand either. 20 years ago, sure, not today. The banks do not do passports. You apply through Home Affairs. They just have offices in the banks. Western Union will work, but they take 5 to 15% of every transaction. They'll rob you blind. Same as MoneyGram. Don't you have to marry her family too? It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar made this all very clear, man. He made it all very clear. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is what Admiral Akbar had to say about that.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. My partner and I are not married yet. Should we tie the knot in South Africa or U.S.? Well, I don't know how to answer that question for you. Not giving anyone ideas or anything, but I mean, if you're married, it's going to be easier to claim refugee status for a family than it is for two people who are separate. Yep. Not giving anyone ideas or anything, but what would the U.S. Embassy staff do if someone walks in and says they won't leave, they want refugee status? Well, you won't walk in. You won't walk in. You can't get in the embassy, Erica. You can't get there. First off, there's a fence and guards, armed guards and SAPS police from the government nearby, and you can't get in. And then even if you got over the fence, you would just get to the guardhouse, which has scanners and armed guards in there, and you wouldn't get past them. The doors are magnetically sealed. You can't release them. And so you wouldn't get in. Even if you somehow got through there, overpowered those people, you're going to walk 200 meters to the door, and then you have more magnetic locks, and there's a Marine behind those doors. You're not going to get in there. And then you get in that door, there's more magnetic locks to get through another level. It doesn't matter what you say. You're not going to get in the American embassy. So people can go there and say, I'm not going to leave some refugee. And you're just going to sit there like the Khoisan did at the Union buildings for 7 years, and nothing will be accomplished other than getting attention. Yep. You can request where you want to go. It's up to the state or the Homeland Security where you go. My son is in New Zealand and really enjoys it. My daughter's in Australia. Said she'd rather be in New Zealand. My daughter in Canada, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is amazing. But Canada is run by a leftist lunatic, and that's hopefully going to change soon. Australia is a wonderful country, but it's been ruined by Scott Morrison, Dan Andrews, and their ilk. And New Zealand's been ruined by the leftists. It's under conservative control now, so New Zealand's a decent place, but it just changes too often and too easily. Marry a Kardashian. There you go. Okay, we're going to wrap up here shortly, folks. Worked offshore most of my life doing rope access. I have no idea what that is, rope access. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to work in the Gulf of America. Why not? Pablo wants to know, what if the Netherlands offer refugee status to Afrikaners and colors? Well, don't they already? Isn't that how you live in the Netherlands? Whatever, that's their prerogative. It's their business. No, you can't choose where you settle. You're not settling. You're being relocated and resettled. And it's up to the Homeland Security Department. We can't dump everybody in the same place. We don't have all the services everywhere. So, yeah, there is no Blockbuster. I think you know that. That's why you put that. Blockbuster went out of business a long time ago. Okay. How would we travel the USA? By plane. Didn't get notified live through the first WhatsApp group. Oh, because I didn't schedule it through the WhatsApp group, Mickey. Sorry about that. I mean, I'm a little bit busy this morning. This one I didn't do, but this is a regular standing one. So people should know where they're supposed to be at 6 p.m. every day. I'm here every day at 6 p.m. I was a little bit late today because I was taking care of something else. No, there's no time frame, Kobus. There's no program. Why do people keep asking for time frames for a program that doesn't exist? No one knows. How to send you information securely. You can send it via the email if you want, and that's been put up on the channel. You can go to the About tab, click on the About, look for it says email address, click on that, say that you're not a troll, you're not a bot, click on that, and it'll reveal the email address. You do great work. Imagine how much stress people would have been without you. Thanks for everything. Told my mom about your Elvis story. Blew her mind. Oh, yeah, Ludwig. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I have other crazy stories, too. I mean, like the Manson clan, the murders of Sharon Tate and the LaBiancas and all that stuff from Helter Skelter. I was a little kid. We were living in California. We were coming back across the country. My mother worked for a grocery store. She was a clerk and at a grocery store, at the till. And the owners of the store had been murdered brutally. So the cops in LA weren't sure what to do. They started interviewing anybody that might be a suspect that had a grudge. And apparently the owners were really nasty to people to work for. They weren't nice. I don't know. I was a kid. I don't know. But that's apparently what the story was. So the cops initially thought that maybe it was just people trying to get even with their bosses. So they interviewed all the employees of their grocery store. And my mother was one of them. And they found out there was nothing there. They had no idea about this helter-skelter, crazy Charlie Manson nonsense at this point. So they keep investigating. Meanwhile, we left California. So we moved out of California, and we had our camper heading back across the country. We went through the desert and then went out and wound up in Arizona or New Mexico, somewhere like that. So we as we were leaving California, we picked up these hitchhikers. I thought they were girls. I mean, this was when was that, 69 or something like that? I don't remember exactly. But I was a little kid. I'm just a few years old. And but 5 or something like that, maybe 4 or 5. And we picked up these hitchhikers. I thought they were girls because they had long hair, down below the shoulders. And turns out they weren't girls. They were just hippies. We gave them a ride, because they're hitchhiking, and we dropped them off when we got to Texas. So I think we picked them up in Mexico, whatever. We dropped them off in Texas. Maybe it was California. I don't remember. I was a little kid. How would I remember? You can't pin me on that. And only to find out later on that one of the people we gave a ride to was Tex Watson. If you've ever heard of who Tex Watson is, Tex Watson was one of the people that murdered Sharon Tate in Helter Skelter killings, and my parents gave him a ride. Wow. Anyway, true story. Do you have any information about the Afrikaner Accord? No, I don't, Janine. Why are people keep asking me about that? That's been asked 5 or 6 times in this chat. Is that like trending on social media? Is someone spreading that around now? See my email about Ickerlini's government supply to cut as EFF What's SCOM supply? I don't recall if I saw that. I'm aware of that story. Start practicing to fill your own petrol. Yeah, of course you should fill your own petrol. Yep, New Jersey's the only state that requires you to have petrol attendants, and I hate that. That's why I always try to make sure that I have a full tank if I go to New Jersey because I don't want to stop and have someone pump my gas. SABC and the NCA are ripping the 15th February embassy march apart, spreading misinformation. Of course they are. They've said it was hundreds of people or 1,500, and it's not true. It was a lot more than that. Whoever annoys Colonel Wyatt will be sent to hell, Michigan. Security concerns and freedom of speech. Why are you not on Telegram? I'm on Telegram, Erica. Why do you not know that I'm on Telegram? Why do you not know that I'm on Telegram? Of course I'm on Telegram. I'm on Signal, I'm on Telegram. I'm on all of them. And what's the security concerns? I don't have security concerns. I know what the government's doing. I have nothing to hide. So, but I am concerned about censorship, and that's why I have all these platforms. Gas stations dangerous late at night. Depends on where you are. I've got gasoline from an automated machine in Denmark in 1985. Wasn't dangerous at night. I've got gasoline right across the street, down the road, at night. Not dangerous. Depends on where you're at. Anyway, radio, folks. All right, this has been fun. Marguerite says we will eventually be able to, after attaining citizenship, post in the States. What? I have no idea what Marguerite's trying to say. Will we eventually also be able, after attaining citizenship, post in state national government? Are you asking, can you work for the state national government? You can work for state national governments without being a citizen. Our state government's full of immigrants, legal and refugees who are working in our government. Yeah, you don't have to be a citizen to work for government. You can't have a clearance. You can't have a security clearance from the federal government unless you're a citizen. But that doesn't mean you can't work. Most jobs don't require a security clearance. Yeah, you can work for the government as long as you're legal and authorized, and refugees are authorized to work. So you can apply for government jobs. Why would you want a government job? Ew. God. Good God. I mean, why would you ask that question? Work for the government? No. I could. I'd go make 6 figures right now. I work at the War College, work at Security Systems Command. Both of them are within short driving distance of me. Both I could get a senior job making easily probably $140,000 a year or more, plus benefits. I'm not interested in work for the government. No, thank you. Why do people always latch on the government teat for a job? For security? Good Lord. Go compete in the capital markets, in the free marketplace. Do you think the Afrikaners will be able to enlist the military? Introverticus, Afrikaners, Tswana, Venda, Zulu Kosa, anybody can enlist the American army from anywhere in the world. As far as we're concerned, we have thousands of people that aren't citizens serving the military. It has nothing to do with refugee status. Are you asking if refugees who come here to America can apply to be in the U.S. military? Well, yeah, of course. Mazda, okay. Nick, when Mare Pokey is, that's not sarcasm. Cops are friendly here, everywhere you go. All right, that's it. You guys take care. Have a good one. And please check out my videos, which didn't get much play the past night. The ones I just did, the most recent ones. I rearranged the channel, by the way. Let me do that before I go away. I want to show you that very quickly. So hang on a second. I want to show you that before I go away. All right, I rearranged my channel. I want to show you what I did before we disappear here. Okay, so what I did is, there's the channel. And the For You one, that's the ones that YouTube puts up there. I put Trump, South African, USA Refugee Admission Program. So this is all stuff related to what's going on with Trump and South Africa. That's all right there at the very top. So it's the second row you see, okay. Then you have popular videos. These are the ones that get the most views, 182,000, 125,000. Then the South Africa list, this is all stuff related. A lot of this is duplicative because they fit in more than one playlist. Then the Adaba conversation with Chris and people I interview. Okay, there's Teo de Jager, David Ansara, and then Sambit. Neil De Beers over here, Rob Hersoff, Jonah McHugh, all that. So then just videos in general, and then my past live streams are down here because you only get so many fields. So I've rearranged that entire page to make it easier to find stuff, and hopefully that'll increase viewership. So check it out. Alrighty, you're very welcome. Take care, folks. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your presence. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the 79 new members. My goodness, that's crazy. You're going to push this up to 400. In fact, let me take a look real quick before I go anywhere. I'm going to go, before I do that, one last thing. Memberships. That's crazy. We've never had that level of members. We have 395 members. That's crazy. Look at that. hang on a second. 395 as of yesterday. And it said, okay, so all the ones we just added, we're over 400 because it hasn't added the memberships we just got. Wow, that's pretty incredible. And as far as subscribers, we're at 44,408. So keep it going, folks. Thanks a lot. 500 people here. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves and go well. Be safe out there. Yep. Oh, there's 10 more memberships. Nick, stop that, man. Nick is spending a lot in memberships today. They're very kind of you, Nick. All right. Okay. Gosh bless it. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to close with this video again so you know a little bit about me and see some of the places I've been in my lifetime. Cheers.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
This morning I'm sharing the stage with guinea fowl, and quite a few of them, as you can see. They're sharing the stage with guinea fowl and barking dogs in a residential area here in Somerset West.